Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about?
That.
All right, Joseph. It is middle of January already.
Yeah.
We're a week away from the world ending.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That is, I've ignored that and pretended it didn't exist for a while now, but I think the time for that is running short.
So I did a drawing of Trump, like when he first won the election, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
which seems like 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
He's like a comet coming to Earth.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's a good
just
one.
destroy. I'm gonna do an animation though, because I think I made it on separate layers, thankfully. And where I'm gonna make an animation of it and like premiere whatever, and just have it like heading to the Earth, and then like it just turns white with like explosion.
Yeah.
And post that like the day before the inauguration or whatever.
Mm. Yeah. That'll be grim.
I can't.
Mm.
I still like can't fathom it. It's bizarre, and I don't even. And also at the same time, I don't give a shit. I'm going through.
Yeah.
We talked about this, and I'm not gonna talk about it on the podcast, but I have some personal issues, and that's why not just like this
Right.
fucking
Right.
guy wins in the beginning of November, but man, it feels like 1,000 years ago to me. Like I don't even. Um, I can't even fathom it. It's like we're gonna talk about the nominations though later. That's happening right now, which is weird.
Yes.
I thought that shit doesn't happen till after the inauguration, but
I did too, but it does make sense that you would want to have them ready day one. Like you don't
yeah,
want to start your presidency and then have to wait,
yeah,
for Pete Hegseth to sober up and
dude,
attend a
that guy.
hearing.
If that guy gets in, man, then I
He's
mean,
in. Yeah.
we'll talk about that later. But man, the
Yeah.
fucking Republicans, man, they just fucking they're like just sucking this
Yeah.
guy's cock during
It
it. Like, oh
really
my
is really
god, you
grotesque.
are a soldier. It's like, dude, this guy is like I'm more qualified to run the military than him. Like,
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah. The New
he
York
was like
Times
drunk
pitch.
there.
Yeah. The New York Times pitch bot did a thing where they said like they originally thought it was satire, but it was actually from the New York Times, and it was like article where it's like talking about his perfectly coiffed hair and how he's
Fucking A, man.
heroic jawline and
New
so I
York
mean it was
Times is
like
bullshit, man. I'm
yeah,
telling for years.
they're all bullshit.
All right, well, what are we
All right.
talking about, Joseph? Before we go
So
deep into that, because we're gonna talk about that later.
we're going to talk about this new social media platform. It's not out yet. It's called Flashes. We're going to talk about the new Daredevil trailer.
Yep.
We're talking about Squid Games Part 2.
Season one, season two,
Yeah.
part one.
Okay. So is it? Yeah. Well, I have
But I guess they're
questions.
calling. I don't know if like the second part's considered Squid Game season three. I don't know. It doesn't
Well,
matter. So
I've seen official ads from Netflix where they reference Squid Games 3. So I don't know. Anyway, well, we talk about Squid Games. We talk about Skeleton Crew, which you know what I didn't add on here, and I'm going to add now is
Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos. Uh, we're going to talk about Neil Gaiman news.
Good news, I would
Yes,
imagine,
oh
right?
yes, yes. We're talking about the
No, it's not good news at all.
no. We're talking about Jack Smith and his findings regarding Trump. We're going to talk about some Trump nominations, and then we're going to finish by talking about Walgreens and the outcome of their latest business strategy, and Joe Rogan. So
Joe
that's what we
Rogan's
got.
sucking the cocks of
Uh,
billionaires everywhere and fascist leaders.
Yes.
The everyman, Joe Rogan. He's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so the first thing we were going to talk about is this thing called Flashes. I guess Blue Sky, which has become pretty popular, um, is going to start a new social media app called Flashes, and it's basically going to be like an Instagram clone.
yeah, I
So
think that's awesome. I
yeah,
think that another thing is like Blue Sky is like okay for me. I haven't even have 1,000 followers yet. Uh, and honestly, someone wrote like, why can't this just be one fucking app? And
well,
obviously, it can't be, but like. Like if they could carry over your followers or something, I don't know. It doesn't even matter. I just think like, there's been like Caro and all these other ones that are like complete fucking waste of time. But I feel like with Blue Sky becoming a bit of a success, actual true success out of all these, because for years there's been these bullshit like alternative media, social media platforms,
Yeah,
Mastodon, which is like
right.
that Mastodon is the Raspberry Pi of social media. Do you know what Raspberry Pi
Yeah,
is?
like that little computer, homebrew computer thing.
Yeah, like oh,
Yeah,
don't get the yeah,
yeah.
like even fucking hard times make fun of like Nintendo released like a Super Nintendo retro thing and it had like 24 games in it and people are like, "Oh, what a Raspberry Pi, you can have 70,000 games." And it's like, "Oh, cool, where do I get that?" Well, actually, you have to be able to build that yourself.
Yeah.
You go to a junkyard and you find the tools necessary, and then you're gonna
Like,
have to go to three different hardware stores.
yeah.
No, I'm not
Raspberry
doing any of
Pi
that.
is made it's specifically for people that used to beat off to Radio Shack catalogs,
Yeah, these are the people who like the
Any yeah,
they were
anytime
that
they
what was that radio they would do? What was this called?
ham radios.
Ham radio. Yeah, like but they were like really nerdy about it. They weren't doing it to like hook up with trucks
Yeah,
or some
I'll tell
shit.
you, I thought the Raspberry Pi sounded awesome, and then I was reading about it, and at one point you have to like solder something. I'm like,
Yeah, you lose me right there. Once you feel
fuck
dealing
am
with it. So I have to buy a fucking like $100 tool and like have to wear protective goggles. Like
the fuck am I gonna
soldering? Get the
solder
fuck out.
something?
Yeah, like no. That
It's like
I'd rather
Raspberry
just
Pi is
make a
great.
Raspberry Pi.
You're gonna need three Microsoft chips, some tin foil, and an arc welder.
Yeah, you're gonna need 20 years of engineering skills.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, fuck that. And that's kind of like what Mastodon was. It was like
yes,
unusable. Like I picked the
yeah,
wrong server and it never let me change the server. And I'm like,
right.
why is there like 20? I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to know this shit? So
I'm on a
I know
I'm
Mastodon
on
was
a
bullshit.
quilting server. Everyone's
Hive,
talking about quilting.
yeah, Hive was pretty good, but then that
Yeah,
shit the
yeah.
bed, it like crashed. And then when they came back, no one gave a shit. Everyone moved on. Caro is a waste of fucking time. I haven't
Hmm.
logged in ever. Um, it was like Vero, that was bullshit. I'm trying to think if there were any other ones.
Well,
Oh, there was like another one, Elo, that was bullshit too. That didn't go anywhere. Um, but I feel like because Blue Sky has proven to be a true competitor, and dude, the
yeah,
right wing hates Blue Sky.
yeah.
Right wing fucking hates it because they're like, oh, it's just a liberal echo chamber. Okay, because the right doesn't have any echo chambers at all.
The
The
reason
fuck
they
out of here.
hate it is because Blue Sky has its best feature is their nuclear block feature. So like if I comment on something and someone comments on me, like if I comment on a very popular post and someone replies to me with some bullshit, I can block them and that deletes everything they have to say. Like the people can't see their reply to me now. Um, and
Good.
it is amazing. There's like you so rarely see trolls. I never see trolls on
Yeah,
Blue
there was a
Sky.
guy trolling me, and he's like, "Oh, typical blue." I'm like, why are you on here? Fuck off.
If you blocked him, no one would ever like they would cease to exist. So it completely de-incentivizes trolling, and that's all the right does is troll. So
Well, it's not
um
just the right trolls. They hire like troll
yeah,
farms
yeah.
and shit too. So it's like half the time you don't even know if you're talking to a genuine person. Like, and I'm
Well,
saying that, like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah, I guess you're talking to a person, but you're not talking to a real person. You're not talking to a person as like they're reading off of fucking scripts. They're fucking like,
Talking to a fucking NPC, man. Talking to a
but I mean, like, these are people get paid to like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
and I remember like a bunch of them, like, because like when I had a bigger following and I had my original Instagram account, the
Hmm.
first one, it was that fucking disgusting like Putin Trump when they had that like in Helsinki and Trump was just
Yeah.
completely bending over him. It was like it's fucking pathetic. And I remember writing about it and like I would get all these weird comments and I'm like, and they were from people who like followed me for I'm like, holy shit, this guy was like a fucking Russian bot the entire time.
Yeah.
It made no
See,
I was like, they gave away the game. I was like, I always thought there was something off about them, but then like they knew like weird details and they were defending it. And I'm
Yeah.
oh, that's like that time when Bill Clinton was chummy with Boris Yeltsin. I'm like, gives a shit. That's not what? I don't know. It
Well,
was weird.
I have this thing where they tallied up. This is from April 2024. So it doesn't include like after when Blue Sky started getting popular. The biggest social media, Facebook was by far the biggest social media app. Twitter/X wasn't even in the top 10. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It was like number 12 or something. But yeah, any alternative to Meta will be welcome to me.
Yeah.
I still look. I'm never going to give up Facebook only because I have all my relatives there. But I no longer post stuff to Facebook. Like I haven't posted stuff to Facebook or Instagram for general consumption for
I don't even
years.
want to use. I barely use Facebook.
I use it to keep up with my
Yeah.
family in New Jersey that I don't get to
I
see,
just go on
and
Marketplace,
yeah,
and
right,
that's about it. Like I don't even give a shit. And like on my, say happy birthday to someone.
right.
I remember their fucking birthday. Like no, it's true. I mean, like
Yeah.
my
Well, I
favorite.
told you
My
my
favorite
my
way of
birthday strategy is
yeah. Oh, I know yours is cruel but efficient.
every day they remind me of someone's birthday
And you're like,
and
who the fuck is this person?
right,
And your birthday
delete.
present is to get rid of them as a. No, it is true because it's like I don't know. Back in the day, people would just like follow each other, and then it's like,
I
fuck, I don't
used
even
yeah,
know you. I met you like maybe once for a second.
I used to do that all the time. And now once a year, when I see that person again, I just delete them. It's
Yeah,
very
like
effective.
they don't interact with you anyway. You probably never see them in your feed
Yeah,
anyway. And the
yeah.
joke is like some of these accounts, they'll put you like, and you could do this too to other accounts. You can like mute them, or you can limit what they
Yeah,
could
you can
see.
pause
And at that
them.
point,
Yeah,
it's like, then why am I even following you? Like, why are
right.
we friends on Facebook? What the fuck?
I have a couple relatives that I routinely mute or snooze or whatever, just because they, look, I value them as like part of my history, my family history. But I don't necessarily want to, read about their, plans to, you know, picket an abortion clinic or something.
No, I know you.
Um,
Look, it's not just that. I'm like, if you're gonna mute me, then what? Fucking like, don't
yeah,
just be defriend me. I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah, no, yeah, I know what you
and I
mean.
would do the same thing. Like, I'm not gonna mute you. I'll just get rid of you. Like. I mean, I guess it's a relative, and you don't want to see, like you said, they're picketing a fucking abortion clinic or
Yeah,
like some
I still
crazy shit
am,
like that.
right.
And yeah, but I mean, like some person that you knew from work or old friend or
Oh
who
yeah, an old a work, old,
pay
yeah.
like a fucking barely an acquaintance, and it's like, okay, bye bye,
Hmm.
like like
Yeah,
why waste each other's time? Don't just delete me. Like I don't give a shit. I
yeah,
think that's weird.
yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to flashes. I mean, I am sick of constantly having to start from scratch with a thing. But the only way I like flashes is
Hmm.
if they do what Instagram refused to do. Instagram was amazing when I first used it because it was a timeline.
Oh
They
yeah,
do
yeah,
this algorithm bullshit. Like I know they fuck with me in algorithm because my post will show up in my feed a week
yeah.
later. And I'm
You
like,
know,
why
it
is
wouldn't
this on my feed? Like,
it wouldn't surprise me because Blue Sky doesn't use an algorithm. They do strictly sequential organization. Um,
really?
yeah, and you'll if you start to like kind of think about it, you'll notice it. Um, it's good and bad. Like it's good if you're a smaller account because you'll get noticed more quickly. Like if a small account posts something on Twitter, nobody will ever see it.
Unless
No,
someone big reposts it. Yeah.
yeah. But on Blue Sky, everyone has a pretty equal shot at getting their stuff out there. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to
So if they follow
flashes.
the same way with an Instagram clone, then I'd be down with it. But
Yeah.
again, I'm not like, I mean, sure, I'll have another one because it's part of Blue Sky. But again, I'm not excited about having another fucking
Yeah.
app. I mean, the only cool thing
Yeah.
about Flash would be I would just post all my old art on there.
Right, right.
It'd be new forever's on there. I don't need to feel like I have to post new art. Just be like, here, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah.
okay. And then today they released another Daredevil trailer. So it comes
Yeah.
back like early, it's like March 3rd or something. And what do you think of it? It looks
I loved it. I thought it was really good. It got me excited to see the show. I love
I
that
like
scene.
what's his face meeting with Kingpin.
It was
And I like
great.
how the Kingpin, they make him look thinner, like
Yeah.
he wants to improve his appearance because the whole plot is like he is running for mayor. Like that was
Yeah.
something and that was supposed to lead into Spider-Man, like with the fucking
Right.
Sony to do the multiverse movie.
I thought it was great. I thought that was a great scene. I thought it was a cool scene. And you're right. They did make, I liked how ambiguous the Kingpin character was. Like,
Well, you
because I,
said like you're not even a vigilante anymore or something.
yeah. Um, and I'm real excited. I didn't know anything about this Muse character.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
a new villain from a couple, well, not that new. I think like
said like,
2016.
yeah, they said
And
2016. And that,
yeah, he like it's something to do with like art and shit, and he's like a murderer.
yeah.
And then like Bullseye's gonna be in it. White Tiger's gonna be in it. That's gonna be awesome.
Hmm.
He's like a superhero. I think he's like Puerto Rican or whatever, and he was introduced in the 70s. Originally it was like in the magazines, not in the comics first, and then he
Yeah.
appeared in the comics. But I'm assuming enough that this character is gonna die because I think he is dead in the comics, and like his niece or something takes on his place, and
Yeah.
a character that was introduced 10 years ago, the niece, and
Right.
you're gonna see all these fucking morons. They're gonna be like, oh, fucking woke by making it a girl. I always love when they do that shit. It's like, dude, they always show their ass. Like, dude, this character's not new. She's been around
Right.
over a fucking decade. Like, you don't know this because you're not really a fan. You're just a fucking online chud, like trying to generate cheap clicks. So I could see
Yeah.
them setting that up. The Kingpin's Punisher's gonna be in it.
Hmm.
I like the Punisher, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a big John Barenthal fan when it comes to the
I,
Punisher.
yeah.
I just don't like. He felt the most like the Punisher in season 2 of Daredevil,
Yeah.
but after that, like his own shows, he never felt like the Punisher to me. It just felt like a guy who kills criminals and shit like that, but like
Yeah.
he barely ever wore the fucking costume. He just
No.
doesn't come off,
Seems
and
more like the consequencer than the
yeah,
Punisher. Like he would.
there'll be consequences because I'm the consequencer.
Yeah. For
That
me, it's
makes sense,
Thomas
sir.
Jane or no one.
What?
For me, it's Thomas Jane or no one.
Yeah, hey, Thomas Jane was okay.
He's fine.
I still think the best fucking Punisher just was not used right is Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, I can see
Dolph
that. Yeah.
Lundgren, that movie was ass, but it was fine also. I remember talking to this guy, this store I go to a lot, and he brought up a good point. Because they made a Punisher movie in the 80s, and it ended up just going like straight to tape. It might have gotten like a tiny release.
Mm.
And Dolph Lundgren was like perfect. He looked just like right out of the comic, but they didn't give him a fucking skull shirt.
Yeah, that's like critical.
Like you can't, like, we're not talking anything big. You could just silk screen a fucking
Yeah.
skull. Like at least with like the Thomas Jane one, like, it wasn't a perfect skull, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
The other one too, the one with he died.
But
He
that's
was
like giving you Nick Fury without an eye patch,
Yeah,
or I
exactly.
mean,
Like
it's like it's
he
pretty
said
iconic.
he thinks that the reason why they didn't put the skull on him was because of Satanic Panic in the 80s.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, I
Like
could
it's a
definitely
fucking
see that.
skull. Who cares? It's not like he has like a goat head or something
Yeah.
on him.
Put like a fucking 20-sided die on
I
it.
think it'd be awesome though when the Punisher comes back, he kills like a MAGA chud because of the misuse of his logo.
Yeah. Right.
No, there
Right.
should be like a joke where like I don't even know how they would even do it. You know how like they have the Donald Trump hair on the skull? You
Hmm.
ever seen that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's
Amos
classic.
Amos. If they do something kind of similar with the skull, but with the kingpin, and it pisses the
Yeah.
Punisher off.
That'd be funny. That'd be
I
funny.
don't like the kingpin's politics.
Well, I think this trailer
I'm
looks
a woke
great.
Punisher.
This trailer looks great. Um I'm excited to see it.
Needs of the many. Communist Punisher.
Yeah, it was him. It was him. They should show the Punisher in the first scene wearing that backpack like Luigi wore. Like,
Yeah. He shoots a fucking yeah, dude. That would not go over well. I
nah.
mean, I think it'd be great. I would love it, but yeah, the show looks awesome. It looks like they got their shit together on this.
Yeah, it does.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's good. I want to see Daredevil on it. I don't want this bullshit like he's only in the costume like one episode. Like, no,
Right.
I
Yeah.
want to see Daredevil on every fucking episode. You watch the
Yeah.
Hulk in the 70s. Lou Ferrigno was almost every episode. Bruce Banner turned into the Hulk twice.
Yeah.
One in the middle, one in the end. It was
For a
every
total of like
fucking
three and a
episode.
half minutes. Yeah.
Fine, whatever. He was in it. The Hulk was
Yeah,
it.
true. That's true. That's true.
Spider-Man, Nicholas Hammond. He was dressed in that fucking costume. I don't want to see this
Yeah.
bullshit. Like,
Right.
oh, I only wear the costume in the last like 2 episodes. Actually, no. From what I hear, that was the original reason why they scrapped the. Remember they made the show, but then they scrapped a bunch
Oh
of.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they still kept a bunch of stuff, but they scrapped most of it. Because he wasn't wearing the costume until like the
Yeah.
fourth episode, and I guess they
You gotta fucking
no first episode. Get in that fucking costume.
right.
Get in here.
Nobody wants a fucking lawyer in Hell's Kitchen show. I'd watch Ally
I
McBeal if
mean, I
that's
could
right.
watch that too if it's good. I mean, he's great
Yeah,
as Matt Murdock, but
he
again,
is, but
I know I just don't want. It's not just that they do this shit where like everything's got to lead to like gotta earn the costume, and then the last episode they're in the costume. You're just
right.
like, can you just be the fucking costume the entire like
Yeah.
at least once an episode or
Right. Oh well.
yeah,
All right,
whatever.
so I did finally get around to watching Squid Games, or the rest of it. I watched the first 2 episodes, then I watched the
Yeah,
rest of it. I thought it was look, I liked it a lot. I know my upcoming comments are gonna make it sound like I didn't love it, but it was very good. It was after the first couple episodes, it did pick up and get a lot more enjoyable. Um, I did find myself wondering, like, aside from aside from the production value, which looked much better, like what was I seeing that was new? And I couldn't come up with like a
well, we
ton
didn't see the
more,
rich people again.
Yeah,
Someone, I've seen a lot of people commenting on season two. They made some pretty good points, and I could see what they mean. Like the first one really had to do with like class struggle.
yes,
And then
yeah,
this one, it feels like more like, oh no, these people like kind of deserve to die because they're just greedy.
yeah,
And like, I mean, everybody's there for like a reason. Like the Thanos, which is funny, his name's Thanos, and he has
yeah.
like gems and shit. Like he has purple hair. It's like,
Right, right.
yeah, they're really blurring that line. It's like it's Korea. They don't have to worry about copyrights and IPs or anything
Nah.
like that. Nah. Uh, but like, a bunch of people fell for a crypto scheme, But again, it's like
Yeah,
greed. It's like,
right. They had it coming to some degree.
yeah, but like in the original one, it's like no, people like did it because they were destitute, and it's a little bit there too. But I think the people were saying like it's almost like Netflix wanted to downplay the class struggle in this more and just make it almost
More
like
actiony.
yeah, more actiony, cartoony, and like like there's some good stuff. Like I'm shocked. They did a good job with the trans character. I thought,
Yeah,
like I could, when the trans character was like, oh, this is gonna,
right.
the chubs gonna lose their mind. No, I thought they did a good job on that. Like there's an interesting part when like they do like a move or something, and she's like tells them like, I don't want you to look because she doesn't feel, because she would look more
Right.
masculine, and I guess she's in her poopa stage. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Is that it? That the word poopa?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Um,
shit. And like, and I thought that was interesting, like, because they're gonna use the money to finish and
right.
that, but I found that like, okay, that's kind of like they did a good job with that. I know people were like, some people were complaining because of like, I guess the actor isn't. It's a dude. It's not a
Oh,
trans
okay, I
person.
follow you. Yeah.
But I also think like I get that, but the fact that this is a South Korean show and
Yeah.
they like I never like I feel like they try to avoid
Right. Any
like I remember watching a show and it was like there were gay characters like, oh yeah, because this is Thailand, it's not South Korea.
right.
So they have like different culture. They don't care as much.
Yeah. I guess that's it is kind of interesting. I think one of the things I liked about the first one so much. I love when it's a zombie movie. The thing I love most is like the outbreak scene,
Yeah.
and uh, when there's like an alien show. The thing I like most is like when the aliens first invade or whatever. And one of the coolest things about Squid Games, I thought, was like the slow, gradual introduction to the Squid Games themselves. Like, wow, this is so fucked up. This is, and I love stuff like that. Has this been going on all the time? They've been hiding in plain sight. Is this going on worldwide?
Yeah.
Um, and when I'm watching Squid Games 2, I get so little of that because you can't revisit that. I mean, like
Well, it's like, okay, so the main character's been like training for years. It didn't happen right away, like the way it
mhm,
ends in the first show, where
right.
he had that weird red hair, and he's like, "I'm going to go back," and
Yeah.
but he doesn't. It's like 2 years later, and he hires people. I do like the first episode with the setup with the guy who's the one who recruits people, and I thought they
Yeah.
were going to imply that maybe. I thought at some point they were going to imply that this guy, like, maybe he was a contestant who won.
Oh, yeah. I
And I
didn't
thought
pick
that, but
that,
they just
but
went with he was just one of the guards. He
that would
just
have been
like
a good, yeah.
he just
Yeah.
he just got higher up, this position. And he was kind of crazy. I like the whole like it still was a game, like they do Russian roulette,
Yeah.
and so there's still like a game aspect. But then the second episode was just like so fucking boring. It was almost like very
Yeah.
technical. I feel like I was watching like fucking what's that Godzilla movie? Goji the not minus one. It was the one before that where he goes through these
Oh,
evolutions, and it's
yeah.
very like the government has to figure out like how to stop Godzilla. It was very technical. I thought it was a great movie though. What was it called?
Yeah. Uh,
Not Godzilla minus one because that's the
yeah.
but
No,
they
I
have
know
like a
what you
second one.
mean. It's
I don't know
it's
the
got
name.
like two words to it. Uh, let's see, I can tell you. Um, yeah, I never saw that one. I wanted
Oh,
to.
that one's great. You should.
Um,
Um, what is it?
yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
Godzilla Evolution. What?
Da, da,
Shin
da.
Godzilla. Shin
Yeah,
Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla,
Oh,
right.
that movie's great. You should totally watch it. You should just get it. Like you can get it on like Amazon for like $4.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Worth it.
might do that.
It's
I
very
heard
good.
great things about
Like
it.
it's such a unique take on the character, and like they do play like if this shit really happened, and just like it's like more horrifying too. It's very horrific. And then after you watch that, you should watch like they do video like there's videos on it of like all the if this Godzilla was able to complete all its evolutions, like it would have been like
Right.
the end of like the universe or some shit. Like it would just
Mm,
evolve into this like crazy like I don't know,
Planet
it's
Eater.
bizarre. Almost yeah, like it's almost like abstract at that point. Like it's like um so
Hmm.
it felt very technical in that second episode, and then they finally get to the island, and they finally get to the games, and
Hmm.
that's when it picks up. And I do like how the main I gotta look up his name. The main character just trying to save people during the red light green light game.
Yeah.
And he kind of ends up like kind of failing. One because
Well,
some people refuse to follow, and also because like the people. I always thought it was the doll that shot people, but I guess it was they have like these the people are the ones that shoot him, actually.
yeah, that's
And if you like fidget even a little bit, they fucking kill you. It's
right.
crazy.
Um, yeah, I thought that it was weird how the character started out trying to save everyone. But then towards the end, it seems like he's real cool with sacrificing a bunch of
Well, I
people.
mean, it at
Um,
a certain point you can't save certain people, especially
yeah,
when they're like,
I guess he realizes
because
that,
they
and that,
do those elections. And I love in the last one they like try to like, oh yeah, like because people voted for a certain way, and then like they
right.
just basically set up that people would just kill each other, like in that when they get into that fight in the bathroom, they just kill
Yeah,
each other. Like they knew what they were doing.
yeah.
But Seong Gi-hoon is the main character. And yeah, I mean at that point, that's why I'm curious where the show's gonna go. Like there's that frontman guy who I kind of
Hmm.
knew he was I kind of figured he was gonna be like the old man of the season, the old man, the
Sure.
last one being the guy who basically invented the Squid Games. And
Yeah.
this guy, the front man, who I mean, is he supposed to be somewhat like a higher up or something? I mean, he's posing as a one of them too, as one of the
Yeah.
thieves. But
I do like that element of it, how you don't that there are hidden people in the show. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whose real role in the thing
What do you
is
think of
kind of.
the storyline of like the girl who's the shooter and she like so you find out, and I think they kind of hinted this in the last season that they take the bodies and they fucking like they'll purposely like make sure they're not 100% dead and
Mhm.
so they can harvest their organs and shit,
Yeah, yeah,
which is super fucked up, but it makes sense that they would do stuff like
it
that.
does.
And but she kills them like to the point where they can't use them.
Yeah,
I don't know what she has a kid. They introduced that in the beginning. Like, I don't know, but I'm like, am I supposed to be sympathetic to this fucking character? I mean, she
I
fucking work.
yeah, I
Like,
find a lot of that kind of difficult to follow. Like, I also wonder, like, I know that like South Korea and the United States are real similar. Like, I know that like they're not like totally different mindsets or anything, but
right.
like I sometimes wonder, like, am I feeling the way about these characters the way the show wants me to feel? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and that's a good example of it. Like, is this noble or is this like fucked up? Or I mean, like, it's sometimes it's difficult to get a sense of how I should be taking some of this stuff. What was that show we watched about the revenge, the girl that had gotten bullied? Was that called The Prestige? Not The Prestige. What was that? Remember that one? It had 2 seasons. It was about a young girl who was bullied terribly and then got revenge on all the people
I never
later.
watched. Oh, yeah, The Glory.
The
First season.
Glory, that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was okay. The first
Yeah.
half was better, but
But
it just kept on
that
going.
yeah, but it was similar in that like sometimes I didn't know how I was supposed to, like, am I supposed to feel sorry for them? Am I supposed to think they're a good or a bad person? Am I supposed to admire what they're doing? It was sometimes a little hard for me to figure out how I was supposed to be react or how they wanted me to react, you know. Because usually I looked at some of those shows, I was just watching it and thinking like they're all terrible. Like all these people I'm watching are terrible. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I am a little confused. I guess I kind of alluded to this earlier. I'm a little confused as to whether part two that we just watched is supposed to be its own thing, ending on a cliffhanger, kind of like Empire Strikes Back, or whether like the next season, which is coming quickly, is supposed to be a
Hopefully, I don't know when
continuation.
that means. They just said 2025. That could be December again.
Yeah, I want to say it's like June or something.
That's fine. I mean, I don't mind a
Yeah,
6 month break.
but
Yeah, because it's like, are they gonna be able to do more games? And they showed like that young what's her Young Hing or whatever
yeah, I'm
the
terrible with these
doll.
names.
But then there was a boy version of that doll,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, well, like, I mean, like it's complete chaos at this point. Are they gonna play games anymore? I mean, like,
I don't know. That's a good question
because
because
you got guys like with fucking machine guns, unless they take control of it and everything, and they tell the rest of them like, we've taken care of everything, and if you want, we can still play the game. And then people vote, and they go back
yeah,
to a game, and
I mean that
yeah.
makes sense. I still like your original idea of this being a franchise that takes place in a bunch of different cities all over the
Well,
world.
they
You
like,
know.
because they mentioned that what's his face, David Fincher is going to be working on like
Hmm.
an American version, and I'm like, it better not be a fucking this. I don't want to watch the same fucking show, but American.
Right. That'll
I want an
just make it
American. I want it just
an
part of that world.
yeah,
It would make sense that they would be like, fucking Cayman Island, not like one of the fucking tax shelter islands or
yeah.
something. It's like
Well, and you could
where
do it
they
so
fly to
that
do these games, and it would just be like a more American perspective, and there'd be like
yeah,
more American games and shit like that, like Connect Four or something, and it was like super fucked up and like
Frogger.
yeah,
Um,
Frogger George trying to move the Frogger
yeah,
machine across the street in Seinfeld,
yeah, just like
except
that, but with real
you
cars.
really get run over
You
and
really
crushed to death. Donkey Kong.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I think an American version would work real well. And you could merge the two ideas. You could have a person discovering it for the first time, which I think is kind of a cool thing for a show, but also
These
it
dogs are
being
annoying. Come on, hey,
yeah.
get here, get over here, sit, sit,
Mm.
stop it, sit. I'm gonna ship them. I'm gonna send them. You're going, Sonny. You're gonna play Squid Games.
Well,
Yeah,
I
on
think
the
it would.
highway.
I think
You
it
make
would
it
work
home.
real well.
The dog doing that? I don't know if that would work well.
um, but yeah, I'm excited to see season 3 now. Uh, like I said, season 1 was just kind of fresh and new. I know like a lot of those ideas were retreads, like Battle Royale, Hunger Games. I mean, we've seen this basic shtick a bunch of times, but it was a good one, and I liked the lead character. I thought he was a sympathetic character. So
Good.
um, yeah, I'll tweak this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to season 3. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm just curious how they're gonna do it because it's like I feel like they're an endpoint and like really like we just need like two more episodes.
Yeah,
Because I'm like,
yes.
how are they gonna? They only did three games. I do like that one game a lot, the one where they had to do the five tasks.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was
Um,
crazy, and like the way they, and then what was the other game? Oh, they had to get into the
uh,
rooms. That was fucked
oh
up.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
Um,
assuming there's gonna be more games, but I'm just curious, like how
yeah,
so yeah, I don't know what to expect. I would hope that
yeah.
they would explain more things, and I
I
don't
think
know.
yeah. I don't know. I
I
think
think
there's
it'd be cool. A good setup would be to get the other shows is that he finds out in the end that like this is not the only one. They do this like globally.
yeah. That would
And
make
then you can
perfect
like
sense.
it opens the door to like they could show like little scenes. And they actually that would be stealing from a movie. I don't know if you saw this. It was James Gunn produced it. It was about like a building and everybody goes crazy and they hunt each other down. And it's like at a corporation or something like that, and people have to like survive. They go mad. I think the guy from
Oh, this sounds
Walking
familiar.
Dead was in it, maybe. I don't know. There was like two movies, like Michael Rooker's in it because Michael Rooker's in any James Gunn thing.
Right.
But you find out in the end that like it's happening like in multiple offices around like the world. It wasn't just this one, and
Yeah.
it would kind of make. I think that could be a cool ending. Though you realize like, okay, I could stop this one, but I can't stop it. It's like it's this global. It's not. It happened. It's happening in like 20 other countries or something. And they could
Yeah.
show like in Africa or something like that, and they could show like in South America,
I
and
think
then
that'd be great. Yeah. And they could have it be like that would probably be the end scene is when the characters go into a control room of some sort and you see that it's happening in all these different you see
they
like
like
yeah,
the front man or something explains it to him like
right. Well,
you
yeah.
can't
Well, you just little shots and you would know
you
like
can't beat this.
where it's
Like
yeah, like you see this the shot of the Parisian ones and you know it's in because they're all wearing berets and like have a
yeah,
baguette
they're mimes.
carrying them. Yeah, right. And
They're all dressed. They're all imitating Jerry Lewis,
the American one, everyone's wearing a cowboy hat and like
MAGA
shooting
hat.
off guns with both hands.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
MAGA
yep. They all
hat.
look like Yosemite Sam.
Uh-huh.
And
The
then the
Canadian
Brazil
ones are
one,
all wearing those little winter beanie caps
in
and
Brazil, they could have
yep.
like carnival, so like the women
Yeah.
are just shaking their tatas and everything. And yeah, go real stereotype. Don't even fucking
Yes.
hold back.
Yeah. No, no, go all in.
Go
Um
all in. Like they could be a Texas one. Everyone's a cowboy.
go full Gallagher. Go full
Go
Gallagher.
full Gallagher. Yeah, New York. You could have a bunch of rabbis.
Yeah.
Like yep,
Mhm.
yeah. Just fuck it. Go Canadians, all Mounties.
Go to Mexico. Everyone's just taking a siesta. Just
Yep. Hmm.
yep. Yeah. So anyway, I think
Anyway, Antarctica, it's penguins.
right.
Like, why are we doing this? These
This makes
penguins,
no sense.
these penguins are greedy.
Yeah.
You don't you know how greedy these penguins are?
Well, I wonder because like I wondered if before like the first Squid Games, I wondered about South because I don't know a ton about South Korea, but I know like if you're speaking broadly, like when I read articles about Japan or whatever, they talk about like the work culture there and how it's kind of crushing and how there's like an ennui of young salarymen, and they
Young
gamble and they
salary
don't
man sounds so funny.
get enough sleep and stuff. And I wondered if it was like a comment kind of more specifically on like a work culture in South Korea. I don't know if it is or isn't, but like I wondered that. So I mean like I know like the grossly stereotypical or kind of like racist tropes. They wouldn't want to do that per se, but I wonder if you could comment on like the cultural aspects of each location. I mean, obviously America's like, gun happy and
Well,
money obsessed. And so, I mean, you could comment on
but
that
you could
within.
also say that like people in America are desperate too. Like people could be
Yeah.
fine and then something happens to one of their family members and like their insurance won't cover it.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's like I have to enter the Squid Games to save my fucking like
Yeah.
wife or kid
Jesus.
or
Right.
whatever.
Hmm.
What?
I said, Jesus. Right. Yeah. I mean, that
No, but I
would,
mean, I think that's been like the one comment people said that they feel like the class struggle part of the first season has kind of been muddled over
yes. Yeah.
like making it more just like action and like people are just there because they're greedy and it's like not because society has completely failed them in every way,
Right.
just because they're
Yeah.
greedy.
Yeah.
But some I do love the guy with the mom is hysterical.
Yeah.
The mom, that is the fuck. That was like the funniest part. The guy who's
Yeah.
like a fuck up, and then his mom's there, and then like, oh my god, it's fine. They kind of like they're fine in the end, but it was like this is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's actually really funny.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I like the
Well,
Thanos guy. He was stupid.
yeah. Yeah. This
The
is a lot of
crypto
fun.
guy, you start to feel bad for him, but then you realize he's like a piece of shit because when this is like one of the I think it's like the last episode. He dies, right? The crypto guy gets killed.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's the pregnant girl, which I find that crazy. I just find that like they would never have a pregnant. That would be insane. But
Yeah.
I mean why would they have any morals whatsoever, Like
Right.
you think like a pregnant woman and she's like a month away it looks like from delivering from what it sounds like.
Yeah. Uh,
Um but he talks about like if they win, they'll get together, but like he has this new way to make more money.
right.
And he'll just need some of hers, and it's like he already screwed in the past. And I'm like, and this guy's he's always gonna do this. Like
Yeah. That's just
he's
in his
always gonna run
DNA.
these like schemes and shit. And you're like, yeah, he fucking of course he ripped those people off. He did that how to
Right.
a coin.
Yeah. The squid tour.
Squid
Um,
That's when they squirt that ink on you.
yeah.
Put that ink
Um,
on you.
yeah.
Spit
All right.
on
Well,
you.
do you want to talk about Creature Commandos next or
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew? All right.
We can
Creature
move on. So
Creature
yeah, the last
Commandos.
episode of Creature Commandos.
Yes.
I thought it was good. I
I
liked
loved
it.
it.
I was shocked. I'm glad they were able to kind of tell the full story.
Yeah.
They set up for next season. They brought King Shark back. They
Yep.
gave GI Robot a new big old robot body. I thought that
Yep.
was cool. Got upgraded. I think what's her face had a raw deal.
Oh, Nina. Yeah.
Yeah, Nina Mazurk. Her first of all, they show her past, and it's like sad. She's
It
like,
was almost too. I almost felt like it was too sad.
yeah, it was like and then she gets killed in a sad way too. It's like so
Yeah.
fucked up. So Nina, like her backstory is like she was like a typical human, but her lungs were like kind of born on the outside of her rib
Yeah.
cage or something crazy. And she like should have died. The mom, like the father's like a scientist. He finds a way to like keep her alive and everything. She has like these devices. And the
Yep.
mom like totally detaches and it just ends up
Yeah.
being him raising her. And then the saddest part when they show her, she's like 2 or 3 walking with that machine and
Yeah.
sickly and it's like sad.
Laboring
Looked like
and
she looked like one of the kids. You ever see Akira? You've seen Akira.
yeah.
Where there's like those kids, and there was like the one kid in the wheelchair, and
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
like they all looked kind of old,
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah.
kind of what she looked like. It was sad, and then like the father figures out a way to like make her. I don't know. That was a little left field, like her becoming a fish woman. I was
Yeah. It
like
just sort of
you could
happened.
do
Like,
that. Couldn't you just get her organs inside her body at that point?
well, it was a mistake. Like he didn't want that to happen, but that is what happened.
Yeah, and then
Um,
she could breathe underwater. She can't breathe. She needs to wear a suit. And
yeah.
then they show her go to school. He tries to get her to go to school because she was homeschooled and everything. And of course, all the kids are horrible to
Yep.
her. They call her Frog. It's like, it's really awful. And then she
It
decides to
is. Yeah.
escape. And she basically, for a couple of years, lives as like a sea creature. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't interact with humans and everything. And then, like, she gets discovered. And then the father comes and the cops are all there. And again, these
Yeah.
fucking cops, man, in this show. But hey, sorry. It's pretty much like an honest depiction.
Yeah.
Cops have over the years have killed autistic people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like these are people like whenever someone's having like a crisis, the cop should not be the one that gets called in the situation
No.
unless they know how to crisis manage. Unless they
Well,
know how to
that's
crisis manage, but that's not usually the case. And
yeah.
they,
I think
they
most people that's what like didn't get explained well in the defund the police movement is
now
that
the defund word, this is where the left fails on language.
yeah,
Defunding the police is a negative term. I'm sorry. I agree with it 100%. Especially like New York City, where it's like billions and
right.
billions and billions of fucking dollars. No, take one of those fucking billions and get like fucking social workers and all that shit that can
Yeah,
handle like the
yeah,
homeless care and everything. But they don't get it. So the term defund the police, it's like the same thing with like trying to argue with someone about Black Lives Matter and All Lives
yeah,
Matter. And it's like, okay, well, then most people are not going to get the nuances of
right.
like All Lives Matter being a racist term. They're just not. They're not going to get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't, if you have to explain it to them and they still won't get it,
Yeah,
you failed.
you're not gonna get to the explanation.
To fund
Um,
the police, it sounds, I mean, it is easy. You are creating a situation that is making it easier for the people that want to fund the police a ton of money all the time to win that argument.
yeah,
Because
you should
most
just
people,
say we need to give the police more resources like social workers, this, that, and whatever.
I mean,
And
again, you got
then
to come up with a better word
yeah,
freedom, cop
right,
freedom. This will
right,
allow the cop to have more freedom. I love freedom and I want my cops to have freedom.
right.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, cool. Well, don't worry about the stuff that it involves, but thanks for backing the free cop freedom
Back in the
bill.
blue. Thanks for back in the blue.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. But the left, oh no, I can't do that. I can't back that.
right.
No,
That's what they
dude, that's how you fucking like fucking no child left behind.
yeah.
You leave every child behind. What are you talking about? Like it's defund. Yeah, but okay. So again, cops kill the
The
dad.
father in
Yep.
front of and the father, his dying words were like, "You were never a burden."
Yeah.
And Nina's words to him were, you were the best dad ever. And then and
And
then
then she basically gets taken in, and that's pretty
yep,
much what it seems like. She was taken in by the fucking Mandawaller, and it was just like, oh, because she's a fish person. She's not a
right.
monster. She doesn't kill people. She's
Nah, she's
like,
just like she's a fish person.
and then they
Uh,
have her like, here's a knife, go swim. So there's a scene later in the show.
mhm,
It is basically revealed that the girl, the blonde lady, and was just straight up evil.
yeah,
She really
yeah,
did want to take over the world. Cersei wasn't lying. She
right.
tricked Rick Flag or whatever his name is, Flag, with the power of sex.
Yep.
Made him,
And she tricked the others with Clayface.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
what's his face? Even Weasel was kind of like because she kind of resembled the little
yeah,
girl in that last episode. And when they show his flashback, that the cops kill her too. She
right.
kind of resembled like a younger version of her. So Weasel just thought that was her.
Yeah.
So he got protected of her too. And let's see, do they have what's her face was the voice. You ever see Maria Bakalov? She was the dog in Guardians of the Galaxy. She was the voice of the dog. She was in Borat
Oh.
2. She was Borat's daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that
She was the
actress.
voice of the princess and the old gypsy woman.
Oh, that's funny.
Uh, so yeah, Nina goes in there, and of course she overpowers her, and the woman just straight up kills Nina. And it's
Yeah.
like somebody even said, why couldn't Dr. Phosphorus just stick his hands in the water and boil
Yeah.
the shit out of the water that she was like? He could have went in the water and
Right.
been 20 feet away from her and just boiled the shit. And
The
people are like,
bride with even a slightly higher powered weapon could have just shot her from
yeah,
like across the pond.
yeah. The bride could have
Um,
just probably went in there and killed her. I
yeah.
don't know. Like, I mean, they just sent this girl into like, 'cause I don't know. I guess they weren't thinking or whatever. It doesn't even matter.
That's
But
my
like,
only complaint about the show, really, is that like the Nina character ended up just existing to give the bride more depth.
that's what
And
that's like Hunger Games, the first season, the
yeah,
first movie when like the little girl gets killed and it's
yes,
to give the main character more depth. And it's just
Ray.
like gives
Yeah,
her more of a reason. Like this little girl gets killed in the games and she's like, this game's horrible. I'm not going to participate in it.
right. And it just seemed like a shame because the Nina character, all through the first 6 episodes or so, I was like, well, what is her secret? What is she going to do? What is her power? Is she going to be like a super? Are they going to need her? And ultimately, it turns out that like she was kind of incidental to everything that happened. She never really contributed much. She was just a scared little girl, you know?
Yeah, her character, like everybody had like some kind of power and purpose. Like the bride is like,
Yeah,
I don't know if she's like immortal. I mean, she's pretty much immortal. Like who knows how long she could live. I mean, she's been
right.
alive for centuries. Frankenstein's been alive for centuries. Um, Phosphorus is like insanely overpowered. Weasel's got the
Yeah.
power of a weasel. Flag is just like a really good soldier. Which was cool that like he got his ass kicked by
Yeah.
fucking Clayface. Of course
Yeah.
he would get his ass kicked because fucking Clayface is a fucking monster.
Right. Yeah. I thought it worked well. Anyway, I loved the show overall. I don't have any complaints about it. I mean, my complaint about Nina existing only to kind of like flesh out the character of the bride. Um, it's a minor complaint, really, because like that is how stories work. I mean, you do often have characters like that.
It's
I
just
just
sad. It was like
it's just
really
sad. Yeah.
in the
Um,
comics. She's in the comics. She's introduced in some series, but called like Frankenstein Agents of Shade. And I didn't really read it, but from what I know is character's pretty different. She's a scientist who creates monsters, and she decided to make herself into a monster, basically.
yeah.
And then, people have said like James Gunn can be pretty close to the comics, but he's also can stray really far from the comics too.
Yeah.
Just does whatever it works for the script. And I don't think anybody out there is like, how dare they change the
Yeah.
character of Nina Mazursky? Like no one gives a shit
No, I
about
don't
me.
think so.
She's a side character. Oh my god, this dog's so god, kill. I'm sorry. Yeah. Um, like he'll change certain things. Like even Guardians of the Galaxy, he changed a whole bunch of shit about the
Yeah.
characters. I mean, like the initial team is not even that team.
Right.
Like at least not in the original comics. They did make that team like a couple years before the movie came out, but I mean, he'll do these things that could be either really comic accurate or he strays very far from the comic.
Yeah.
It's just like whatever works with the script. And honestly, it's like who gives a shit? I mean, like Creature
Yeah.
Commandos is a great show. If
It was a
anybody's
great show.
complaining about Nina Mazursky not being comically accurate, I'm sure no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
excited to see next season. I think this was a great surprise this season. I think it's a good introduction to the like James Gunn's sensibilities to the DC universe. Um,
The bride, Frankenstein being like obsessed with the bride to the point of like insanity. Like he's
yeah.
just what's his face is so good as the voice of like
Yeah. David
it's like
Harbour.
a
Yeah.
very strange. It's like it's like he's there's something off. It's not like human.
Yeah.
He's not a
Well,
human. Like it's like there's something off, like how he speaks and everything.
it's really cool because like he's like part intellect. He's like shallowly intellectual
Yeah,
in some ways. You know, like he speaks it sounds like he's smart until you listen to what he's saying, and then you're like, oh, you're just mimicking what you think smart is. And then at other times he's just like real bloodthirsty and like
I mean, it's not even he's even bloodthirsty. He just has no regard for humanity.
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
way he just like kills people. It's like it's not like he's getting. I don't even think he gets enjoyment out of it. I think he's just
nah,
like he doesn't give a shit. Like even like the at the end, they I don't. Did you watch the after credit scene in the
yeah,
last
yeah,
episode
where
where he
he's
found another gypsy woman to take
yeah,
care of him, and he's gonna kill her probably. I
yeah,
mean, um, even like when they're on the plane, he just kills people, and he's
yep,
talking about the bride and he just sounds insane. But like,
yeah,
and he just has like no regard for humanity. He doesn't really. I do like his little team up though
oh yeah,
with
flag,
Flag. Yeah. Um, yeah, show's awesome. I'm glad they were able to like kind of wrap it up. I like that they alluded to like more Creature Commando characters.
yes,
King Shark was someone was like, why didn't you just have King Shark instead of Nina? And like, who cares? Like, she was
yeah,
busy.
he's
I mean, the thing is, it does take place in the same universe as Peacemaker, and
yeah,
like this show is made. Now they'll say this is basically like the introduction to the DC universe, and
hmm
like which is true because like even like when they show that scene, they show the superheroes die. If you see Superman, he's wearing the costume from the new movie. He's not
Oh,
wearing the
okay.
Superman outfit.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
like the Batman was a big deal because it was like almost alluding to like, okay, what kind of Batman are we getting in this universe?
Right. Yeah. The big
Um,
one.
right. So, but this, if if James Gunn didn't have this new DC universe, and it would just been a continuation to his like Suicide Squad movie,
Right.
Peacemaker. So it would make sense that like King Shark was busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause-
Don't overthink it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Have a good time. It's like that scene in Austin Powers too, when they're the guy from Logan's Run, who's like the
Michael York.
of the Austin Powers world, and he's
Yeah. Yeah.
talking to like they're talking about time travel and everything, and like they're trying to figure out, and they just look at the screen and say, you know what, just enjoy yourself, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like let's not overthink this, guys. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right.
um yeah, so Skeleton Crew
Skeleton Crew.
was
Yeah.
awesome, very good. Someone was like it's like watching this guy, and he's usually like critical. I'm like always like, I don't know, is this like one of these chud accounts? And I think he's like just a really big fan of Star Wars. He's highly
Hmm.
critical, and he loved the finale. But he said like the effects were just good for Disney Plus, and I was like, fucking kidding? Like this could have been a theater. It looked fucking
The only, it's funny. I thought every scene looked great. The one scene I thought looked a little weird was when the pirate ship was crashing into the suburbs. The
looked good.
the cars looked like miniatures. It looked like a
They did use a lot of. They said that a lot of stuff was practical, like that giant
yeah.
crab monster supposedly was mostly uh stop stop
Okay.
motion.
It would not surprise me if that scene where the pirate ship crashes into the suburbs, if that was practical effects and they used like miniature car-like vehicles and stuff.
I don't know.
It didn't look great, but
It could be a
aside from
mix of
that,
things.
everything looked good. It
Someone
was
pointed
a
out said like that basically Ad Aten's like a communist society in some way.
yeah,
Like it revolves around money. Stephen Fry was great
it
as
was
the
funny, yeah.
Stephen Fry was the voice of
Oh,
the
the robot.
yeah, the main droid.
Okay.
I like that he had like arms that came out. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I know. I knew he was gonna be in it. I'm glad it was a robot. I was like, who like you can't just force like another fucking character. But I'm
Yep,
just,
yeah.
when they okay, so part of the plot is like, okay, so like what's his face? I don't know. What's his fucking name? He has like 10 names in the show.
Oh, Jod.
Jod. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
like his official name.
I believe so,
He was
yeah.
Crimson Jack, and he was
Yeah.
like 10 other names. Let's see.
Yeah, it's like Jod,
He's
Jod.
trying to get his ship in, and like then but I guess because the ship they were flying in was made for like at Aten or something that they could fly in and out. And their goal is to
Get
go
the
out and
pirate,
get
yeah.
like X-wings. And
Right,
I
right.
actually thought about it, and I was like, because they kind of reveal the end, like the art he would see of like the Jedi. And
Yeah,
for some reason, initially, I thought it was Luke fighting the Rancor, but like, why would he know Luke is he was like this planet's kind of like sheltered from
right.
like Clone Wars, the Empire. Like
Yeah.
it kind of just existed on its own. It's really not part of the New Republic. It doesn't. But now the New Republic's gonna know who they are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this though. Okay, so you know how they turn off the shield?
Yes.
I would imagine that wouldn't that fuck the atmosphere up a bit?
Yeah, a lot of that was like a little unusual. And you literally saw the sky change. I mean, you saw the sky change
Well,
colors
it
and
turned into like night. I mean,
yeah.
it was stars were out. All of a sudden, everybody's like total recall with their eyes pop out in the end.
Right.
They're like
Yeah,
an eyes. They're like, "Why do we do this? Is a bad idea." And that's how the show
that's
ends.
funny.
The
Yeah.
babies explode. The baby elephant.
Oh God. Yeah, I
Neil
liked
in the
how one of the
bathtub again. Neil's constantly taking
yeah.
baths.
I
What
loved
a
how
good
one of
time.
the X-Wing pilots was a Neil creature.
No, it
Uh
wasn't.
yeah, wasn't one of the X-Wing pilots
Nah, he's
elephant?
it wasn't a Neil. It wasn't a
Was it?
blue elephant.
Oh. Huh. Oh, anyway.
It wasn't. There was an alien one. He was in other movies. They didn't say that he's the exact same character, but there's a character like in the Force Awakens that kind of looked like that.
Huh. Well, I thought the whole episode I thought was really great. I really liked it a whole bunch. I liked some of the small details like how Wim when he finally got the lightsaber, he double checked to make sure which end the saber would come
Yes.
out. Like he's
So there's this theory that Skeleton Crew is really a setup for Captain EO.
I
Because
did.
there's like a blue elephant in that. And
Yeah.
you got a kid who kind of looks like a young Michael J.
Right. Yeah.
A little bit, a little
Yeah.
bit, a little bit.
I don't hate that. I mean, I remember I saw Captain EO when I went to Epcot as a
I never
kid.
saw it. Or
It was
maybe I saw it
fine,
online. I don't know.
probably. I mean, it's just look. A lot of these shows are kind of like the same basic plot, like
Yeah. Didn't Martin
but
Scorsese make that or no? Who made it? It was
I thought
somebody.
I thought Spielberg or Lucas was involved.
Oh, it wasn't like no. What's that guy's name? The one who did American Werewolf in London and
Um,
guy who killed a bunch of kids in that Twilight Zone movie.
yeah. Oh,
Landis?
Dante, Joe Dante.
No, not Joe. It was Landis, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Landis.
Isn't
Peter
that right?
Landis. Anyway,
No.
you're right. Captain EO was directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, that's
Uh,
it. That's so weird.
and George Lucas wrote the script.
John Landis is
John
the
Landis,
director.
yeah.
He did Thriller.
Gremlins.
He did Thriller.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And he did Gremlins.
No, he did it. Joe Dante did Gremlins.
Why am I getting these two? Okay. Yeah, all right. Huh. Well, anyway, I heard this Captain EO theory this morning, kind of after
I
I'd
mean, it's
watched the
fun.
show.
It doesn't
It's
mean it.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be just a fun theory.
I would love a season 2 of Skeleton Crew. I'm skeptical that we'll get it. I would like to see any one of these characters in another Star Wars
I mean,
property
if we
too.
don't, we got a satisfying story.
Yeah.
There are a couple things that don't make any sense.
Yep.
I do like that we got the owl again, voiced by Maybe.
The owl was great. I liked how Neil got wound up with the little mouse creature.
Yeah.
I thought that was good. I thought everything worked real well. I thought the parents were good.
Yeah.
Um,
The dad
I
was great.
yeah.
The main star. He's let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah, you told me this. I had
Yeah, I
no
guess he's
idea.
on he was from a famous band. I never even heard of them really, but
TV on the radio. I
TV on the
remember
radio.
in like the
And
early 2000s, I was totally into a bunch of new music, and TV on the radio was one of them. And I never realized this guy had an acting career.
he's been in a bunch of stuff. I guess he was in
Yeah.
the recent Twisters movie,
Yep.
which I didn't see. I don't know. He's been in like a lot of he comes out, he's like very indie. Like he feels like a
Yeah.
guy who does
Well,
indie music.
when I was listening to TV on the radio, I was listening to like Interpol and Block Party and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs and like all that kind of music to me kind of like came out around the same time.
Yeah.
Even though they're all pretty different, the Strokes. I mean, that was the era when those bands were coming out that I was into TV on
What
the
did he
radio.
say to the son? I'm a 7th level like
Engineer or something.
engineer. Yeah, that's so funny. But
Yeah.
he's in a movie that I fucking hated so
Yeah,
much.
you said this.
Oh God. All right. So he's in a movie called Rachel Getting Married. And it's
Right.
about Anne Hathaway, and she's kind of like a fuck up. And her sister is getting married. I didn't realize Sebastian Stan's in it.
Huh.
Her
Oh,
sister's
I
getting
remember
married,
this.
and she's
Yeah.
marrying that guy from fuck man, he's like pushed all the way in the back. He's in the movie a lot more than that. But I'm assuming, yeah, I think he's the guy that she's marrying. And
Yeah.
fucking hated that movie because like so she's like a fuck up. She goes to the wedding, and it's like this art community, and everyone's
Right.
like musician. Everyone's a fucking artist. It was like so masturbatory. I fucking hated it. I was like, it reminded me of like some people I knew, so I think it bugged me a little. But like, I hated it. But there's a great scene when she like flips out. Like this is like towards the end, she like flips out. She's like, play fucking guitar. Like everyone's sitting there feeling their fucking instruments, masturbating. I fucking hated it. It's like I hate this fucking movie so
Yeah.
fucking much. And I was like, I'm glad she flips out because come on, I would imagine more than half the audience that watched this movie was like, these people fucking suck. I agree with her. Like, thank God she told them to shut the fuck
Right.
up.
That's
It's like
funny.
going to a fucking party and that guy who's fucking strumming a guitar. No one likes you.
Right.
No one likes the guitar guy.
We don't want to hear
Put the guitar
Wonderwall.
away. The guitar's not your personality. Guitar guy. We're not gonna think you're cooler just because you know how to do the Muppet theme
Right.
on your guitar.
Yeah.
Not talking about anybody specific that I knew in the past, no. But no one likes the guitar guy, right? Come on, the
Yeah,
guy
it is. It's self-serving. It's
like,
yeah.
just can we just talk, man?
Well,
Put the guitar away. I'm gonna have
um,
to start beatboxing.
I loved this whole series. I am uh
It looked great. I liked what they
yeah,
did with him too. I liked how Jude Law's character, they explained his past and it was
yeah.
perfect. They didn't go deep into it. They didn't show it. They didn't,
They
it was
didn't
kind
need
of like
to.
almost
Yeah.
similar to like in a way it kind of like captured like Obi-Wan just telling Luke like, yeah,
Yeah.
your father fought in the Clone Wars. It was crazy shit.
Right.
Oh, is there more to show? No, that's enough. It's enough to get the
Yeah.
story going. We don't need to show the full CG animated series and the movie prequels. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you find out that he was probably like a street urchin or something,
Right.
and a Jedi, and they said the Jedi was kind of fucked up. A Jedi that was probably on the run
Yeah.
knew that he is force sensitive. He definitely knows how to use the force, but he has
Right.
limited use because he had limited training. And it was a woman. They said it was a woman, the
Yep.
Jedi, and clearly so he's not an escapee from the temple, like that one whatever her name was, the one
Right.
from Obi-Wan. He was just like, who knows what? He was just a kid in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And he said, and that woman took care of him until she was hunted down in the purge.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of like, not like his life was great to begin with. And kind of, and like he even said, like he says to the kid, like, there's little specks of good, but like the galaxy sucks ass. Like there's specks of like, there'll always be like little specks and like this,
Right.
but so I thought they did a really good job with him. I thought it was really cool when I think they did an amazing job on like the hologram when
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, when he comes in and he's talking to them, like, what do you think of Urkel?
Yeah.
He was all right. As the cyborg guy, he was all right.
Yeah.
He didn't
He
really do
was
much.
fine. I thought, just getting back to the Jude Law character, I really thought that all throughout the series I was wondering, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? He's a bad guy. But
Yeah, but then they kind of reveal that he
I
even
like
says like, I didn't want any of this. He just wants to
yeah.
fucking have fun, fucking do pirate shit and like make a lot of money. You
I thought
know?
that was like a real believable winding up point for him, where you could feel it. Like Jude Law's a great actor, but you could feel it kind of in him. He's like, I didn't want any of this shit. I
Yeah,
didn't
like
want.
because they even implied like he was trying to scare them in the last
Yeah,
episode, but that was just so they would like go along with
yeah.
it.
And when they thought that the girl died, KB, when they thought she died, he looked like generally like, oh fuck, like I didn't want this. This wasn't,
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
like he's not a good character in definition,
no, he's not a good guy, but
but he's not like the emperor.
right. He's
I'm gonna
a
shoot you with
no,
lightning.
he's a very and that's kind of what makes him so odd in Star Wars is he's a logically motivated, realistic bad
He's a
guy.
fucking pirate.
Yeah, he like his motivations are very logical. They make sense. He wants to get
He'll
money.
probably rob your house.
Yeah, right.
He'll be
But
nice about it, maybe.
but yeah, he won't like take a dump in your living room floor on the way out
Maybe.
the door,
He's not gonna do when they do that, the floater in the tank where he's shit
Yeah.
in the top 10. First of all, if you can do that, what they call that? Like, there's a word
Uh there is something
where
it's
you shit in the tank. Like, if you could
yeah.
stand on a toilet and balance yourself and take a dump in the tank, you kind
Mm,
of deserve, like, you deserve to do it.
yeah.
It's just like, wow.
I saw a TikTok the other day where some woman said the first thing she does whenever she goes to a friend's house is put like yellow food coloring in the tank. So like
It always looks like piss.
yeah, you flush it as many times
Oh,
as you
that's
want.
fucked up. Yeah,
It'll
waste water.
always
Ha
be
ha ha.
yellow.
Yeah, yeah. What is one flush? A gallon of water? A whole
Yeah.
gallon of water is
The worst part
that's
is she
why
did it in every hotel room in Los Angeles over the last 3 weeks. And
what's
it's
that?
I'm
Yeah.
just
I mean,
kidding.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't need the water there. That's why I ain't flush my toilet after the 12th pee.
Right.
They want it to smell so bad. The tank is just
Yeah.
the water. It's not even water anymore. It's like 90% urine. And then I'll flush.
Well, I don't
But
know.
they say
I
if it's yellow, let it mellow,
right.
or
If it's
grow.
brown, flush it down.
If it's
Yes.
brown, flush it down. Which, yes, that is I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Well, I don't know. I just liked this Star Wars thing a whole bunch. And I guess I'll say that about all the characters. And I've said this like as we've talked about it week after week. I like that the kids act like kids. I like
Uh,
that the parents act like parents. They all act like how they're supposed to act, you
the
know?
weakest character of the kids is the girl who's like the cool one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she's good, but the other kids are just better. The
Yeah.
KB actress is great. Neil is like an amazing like what they were able to do with that is
Yep.
great. And the kid ended up like he was like even like he's supposed to be like annoying. He wasn't annoying. He was a
Nah.
good actor.
Yeah.
He was a
They were
great
all
actor. Like the
yeah.
best was like what was it like he's pretending to play with toys with the robot?
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
talking to Neil with the I love they have walkie talkies. They
Yeah.
fucking I love it too. Again, he's in a fucking bath again, and then like the power
Right.
goes away, and he's like, "Kid's always taking a fucking bath at the wrong fucking time." I would have liked Neil to get a little kiss from that green monkey girl with the
Yeah.
forearms from the beginning, but that's fine. We don't need to see that. Uh,
No.
yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I don't know how it did in the ratings. I think people are burned by Star Wars a
Well,
lot. That unfortunately, this is going to be one of these things where, and I kind of call this like the Transformers effect. Like Transformers made like the first movie was like okay, it was good
mhm,
for what it was, and they just got worse and worse and worse and worse. But then they made a Bumblebee movie,
yeah.
and it was great. It was really good. It was like maybe because like all the other Transformers were so bad. No, Bumblebee was like a good movie, but no one saw it
Yeah.
because they
I'll
were
say
like so
this.
burned by all the other shitty Transformer movies that they were like, "Fuck this, I'm not gonna see it." And it sucks because that was a really good movie.
I don't know if this is like the entirety of it, but I saw like a couple articles where they're like, well, it had the fewest number of minutes watched than the last several Star Wars shows. But I was also thinking like, well, these are short episodes. I mean, are you factoring that into it? Because
Yeah,
like,
they're about as long as like a Mandalorian episode
mm,
usually is. Like this episode was longer. This was like almost an hour. This one.
yeah.
It might have been even,
Well,
but no, I know what you mean. Like I do YouTube videos for comics and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and there'll be videos that are like a half hour. They'll do one extra 12 minutes, and then they'll say like, "Oh, this one has less views than the last video." Well, yeah, duh, because the
Right.
video is only 12 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
and it screws up the average. I'm like, I don't need to have every fucking video be a half hour. It's
Right.
like, but it's kind of weird how if they go by the algorithm alone because that's kind of a stupid numbering.
Yeah.
It's like, but I think that the reality is like a lot of fans are and fans is a loose term. I,
Sure.
I think just a lot of people in general just kind of tired of Star Wars and like Skeleton Crew look. I mean, I don't know when they did that trail and they had that song, which was not in the show,
Hmm. No.
but whatever. I mean, it looked great, and yeah, I would say it's in the top like Mandalorian. I know people didn't like season three. I thought it was fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Season three gets shit on a lot. I thought it was okay.
Mandalorian and
Andor.
Andor and this and maybe Ahsoka. Parts of Ahsoka
Eh,
were pretty good.
this is how I'll do it. I'll say Mandalorian, Andor, Skeleton Crew, top
Yeah.
tier.
Yeah, I would say
Second
that. Yeah.
tier is going to be Ahsoka because like Ahsoka was good, and then there was shit that was
There
bad,
was. Yeah, yeah.
and then I would say Obi-Wan also in second tier,
Yep.
and I would say half of Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, right. The
And again,
Mandalorian,
my
yeah.
issues with Book of Boba Fett was just like, what the fuck are you doing with
We're
like
going back to Tank, man.
the
Always
back of
going
tank? Yeah,
back.
yeah, that was stupid. Like, do you guys ever write a show? Like when you watch Lost, they would
Right,
play the past into the present.
right.
Uh,
Yeah.
I can only think of the past when I'm in my Baka tank. So stupid. And then like again, like unfortunately the best episodes were one were in Mandalorian. And
Yeah,
it's like, where's Boba Fett? This
right.
one guy brought up a good point, and I'm sorry, this is like a fair critique of the Boba Fett show. the people who like Boba Fett like him because he's supposed to be the biggest badass in the galaxy,
Right.
even though he got punked in
Yeah.
the fucking Return of the Jedi. I mean, he literally just got hit in the back by a blind dude by accident. Han, right? I think
Yeah.
his backpack
Boba
fucked
Fett,
up and he
where?
got
Yeah.
swallowed up by the fucking Sarlacc pit. But there's been all these like stories with Boba Fett's a badass. He's a badass bounty hunter. No disintegrations, like.
Right.
And then they got him in this show, and he's like, "I want to be friends with people."
Right.
No, and I see where they were going with it a bit, like the contrast of him and Cad Bane. Cad Bane's this older bounty hunter. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody except himself. And it was kind of like, okay, Boba Fett, you can go in this direction and become Cad Bane, or you can have friends and go to brunch.
Yeah.
What would you rather do, Joseph? Would you want to be Cad Bane or would you want to be brunch time Boba Fett?
Lunchtime Boba Fett, yeah.
Even
Seems like
I,
it's
Boba Fett, can't be say no to French toast
right.
covered
I'll
in
take 'em.
bananas and caramel
Scattered,
sauce.
smothered, and covered.
Yeah, I like endless mimosas just like anyone else in the galaxy.
Space Waffle House.
Space Waffle House where they have space fights. Just like it's like
Right?
basically just a Mos Eisley cantina.
Yeah.
My friend doesn't like you. Listen, I'm just trying to eat my waffle here.
Right.
You don't like it either. You ever see the Waffle House fights?
Oh yeah, yeah, those are good.
Yeah, they're great. Fucking waffle. I
Well,
always still love this day, like Waffle House, like we don't close for anything.
yeah,
We only close if like the world's ending. Oh, great.
right.
Give a fuck about your employees, the safety of your employees. All right. I don't know. That's what I think of when they brag about that shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
so your employees are like, was it indispensable? Is that the
Right.
word?
They're getting hazard pay, right? Right.
No. And if
Well,
they try taking a waffle, we'll fire them for theft.
I loved Skeleton Crew. I hope they get a second season, but I don't
I
think
don't
they
think
will.
I heard it was never meant to
Yeah,
be.
it wasn't.
I mean, again, and like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing the Jude Law character again. I know they said like, did he die in the end? But because he stayed behind, but like
I don't think
nothing
he
happened to
died.
the tower.
Yeah,
I don't think he died.
I think he's just stuck there now. And
I think he'll get down.
yeah. Well, no, I mean he's stuck on the planet. And
Well,
he'll
technically
probably
he isn't because you could leave. The
but he doesn't have a ship or anything. And the New Republic now is going to be patrolling
yeah, but
it.
if you watch the show and see how he like gets it, he's
True.
his way through shit. I mean, he even was able to like outsmart that fucking wolf dude. And that dude was like
Yeah.
didn't seem to like fucking
He was
take
very
kindly to
cunning.
anything. Brutus.
Yeah, true.
That guy was like, I mean, like he knows how to fucking bullshit,
Yeah.
and he would find a way. He'd probably just get in a disguise, and then he end up like on Coruscant with the New Republic or something. And
Yeah.
then you just like find the nearest like I don't know crime bar.
Right.
Coruscant. Well, there was like this whole storyline they set up in the Clone Wars show, which was kind of cool. It was just like, Coruscant is like all these levels, and the lower you go,
Yeah.
it's like the lower the class,
Yeah,
And there was this like game they were supposed to release that was supposed to be like they kind of hinted on it a bit in um Clone Wars cartoon. It was like level 81 or I don't know, like really
Okay.
it was like a lot of criminal empires and shit.
Yeah.
And there was a game that was supposed to come out, and this happened before, I think. Maybe the sale, Disney buying them,
Okay.
Star Wars, and they ended up canceling the game. Like people
Oh,
were pissed
geez.
about it. It looked like a sick game. It was gonna like
Yeah.
whole like underworld of Star
That
Wars.
sounds good.
Yeah, but I think they borrowed some stuff and like used aspects and other things, but it sounded like a cool concept.
Yeah.
Like it would make sense, like, Coruscant, like there's the older city that's below because they just
Right.
keep building on top of each other.
Hmm.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah, awesome show. I enjoyed it. I would like to have more, but I could live with.
Yeah.
My only negative really about the show is just like I wish I could have started with no fucking commercials. But
Yeah.
I guess I could pay for full price Disney Plus.
Sure.
But like I also don't need to see the show again. I'm like it was good, but
Yeah. Well, okay. So switching to less good news, Neil Gaiman
Oh, real
popular.
quick.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what the cool thing too about the whole Jod, right? His name?
yeah, yeah.
Talking about his past and
Mm,
everything, and like, was that like, it's like, oh, who's that woman Jedi? Who was it? Was it like so?
mhm.
No, well, she got killed. They even said that.
Right,
So
yeah,
like, because he saw her killed. But like, that's all you need.
yeah.
Like, good
It,
writing. That's it.
yep.
Explain everything. We didn't need like a whole flat. We didn't need like the first 10 minutes of an episode of a young guy,
No,
and like, you didn't need
less
it.
is more. It was done real well.
And that's where Boba Fett failed because they tried kind of doing something similar with Cad Bane and Boba Fett. Like they had a pass, but they didn't do a good job of like communicating it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay.
That's real true.
Speaking
Um,
of writing,
yeah.
speaking of writers,
Yeah, Neil Gaiman, he a bunch of stuff came out recently, just the last few days from my understanding, where he was credibly accused by multiple people of like some really kind of nasty sex
yeah,
crimes, predatory behavior. Um,
kind of heard about this for years. I feel like shit started. You didn't like he would always be active um on social media, and
yeah,
he'd be very liberal. He'd be on for all liberal causes and shit.
yep.
And then you find out that he's not. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, well they said the
Like it's criminal shit, right? I mean, it's like
I don't it's weird. A lot of it was like it seemed, and again, like this is just me having read a few articles about it, seemed like it began as consensual kind of bondage play that crossed the lines, like crossed commonly
well, he
agreed
would use like
lines.
his wife or something to corral women, right?
Yeah, and also like there's one pretty grotesque scene where he was doing this with a woman in front of his kid, like in front of his small child. Which if that's the case, I don't know if that's necessarily well, it probably is a crime. Anyway, it's gross. It's like
It's because he's
revolting.
not. It's like someone like I saw a bunch of things about. I was like watching this guy Vouch. He was
Yeah.
talking about it a lot. He said he called him like he tries to play the whole soft boy or something like feminist
Yeah,
man type.
right.
And you find out it's like it's just an act. Like
It did.
supposedly there was stories in Sandman or even in his writing where like it would be like a piece of shit like writer or something and like who would take advantage of women.
Yes.
It was like
Yeah.
and it's like was he kind of doing like a tell in some way? Like suppose like they were like comparing him to, like Cosby and shit. Like
Yeah. I
it-
haven't heard that it got that bad
they even like
necessarily.
the whole like him and his wife, there were people like making comparisons to like fucking Epstein and Ghislaine, Max Ghislaine,
Yeah. Well,
Gizzle Mac, whatever her
he
name is.
he was married to that musician Amanda Palmer.
Yeah, who is that? That name sounds. I
She
mean, wait, I think of fucking. I hear the name Amanda Palmer. I think of fucking Twin Peaks, and I know that's not.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that the character who gets killed? No, what's
No,
her name?
that was Laura Palmer.
Oh, Amanda Palmer's sister, Laura Palmer.
Yeah. Amanda Palmer was in that band called the Dresden Dolls, that were a Boston area art pop band. Um, they were like reasonably popular. They did a lot of covers, and I think it was kind of like a little heavier electronica, Tori Amos type of stuff, like that. If you can imagine that type of music,
Yeah,
and she was Amanda Palmer has like a pretty troubling history herself. I know her fans love her. She's got like a really rabid and devoted fan base. But there's a big thing, and I don't remember it exactly, but basically she wasn't paying her musicians. She would ask them to like perform for free, like for exposure, like when a photographer says,
yeah, that bullshit.
yeah,
That
that kind
fucking
of thing.
yeah, that fucking old bullshit story. Like, oh, you get
Yeah,
exposure. Nah, you know what? I need to get paid.
yeah,
Or we
Amanda.
need to have a fucking deal. Like, in these fucking pictures become big, I got like fucking half the fucking money you make off of it.
Yeah, she has a big Patreon account. um I think a lot of people kind of pin her as a grifter of sorts.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
people are fucking grifters, dude. Like I
yeah,
think
but
that a
like,
lot of people who are just, unfortunately, a lot of people in the art world and music world and any type of world, if they're not like like super established or backed by like the major studios or like, I mean, think about it, like even like the fucking people who like go to like, I mean, the word grifter gets thrown around too much. Like Donald Trump's a fucking grifter. He uses the fucking
yeah,
presidency to make billions for himself and his class. He's a fucking grifter. He grifts off his fucking fans. He uses like, but like, what about like people who were like in Star Wars for 10 seconds and like for the past 40 years go
yeah,
to those conventions and people pay them like fucking $50 a photo to like because they were like in a mask
right.
for like 2 minutes in the movie. Like, would you consider that kind of a grifting in a way? I mean, it's I don't know. The term grifter gets
Yeah.
it it, it,
Here's
it gets
yeah.
abused a lot. Like, I don't know. Like, what's
This
the definition of a grifter? It's like
this was the big controversy. This is I'm reading this
people who
aloud.
sell
Uh,
chud buckets.
a widely reported and commented upon controversy emerged from a tour in which Palmer blogged asking for semi-professional local musicians to volunteer to play songs with her during her live show for, quote, exposure, fun, beer, and hugs, end quote, instead of money. After
I mean,
outcry from various music unions and professional musicians, Palmer responded publicly and changed her policy to one of paying local musicians cash. But this is after she raised $1.1 million on Kickstarter to launch to make the album that she was
oh
touring.
yeah, that's and it never came out.
No, it came out, but then she toured it and wanted like local musicians basically to play for free rather
Like
than
opening
hiring
acts or part of her set.
the part of her set rather than
Like,
hiring.
I think it's like, oh, you get exposure. Like, the people that go to see her don't give a fuck about like the guy playing guitar on stage. They're
No,
there to
but the
see her.
unions did. The unions were
No,
like,
I'm saying
this
that
is how it
that's why
works,
that exposure, when you say you'll get
Oh
exposure,
yeah,
is bullshit because
right. It's
the audience is just going to see you on stage being like some backup to her.
right.
So she's basically got you working for free. There is no exposure unless
Yeah.
you like, I don't know, you look like the Rizzler or something. You like
Yeah,
stand
I
out
guess
like
you
a
could.
sore fucking thumb. No one's gonna fucking remember you. Like you're just
Yeah.
gonna be guitar player or fucking tambourine player number 12. They don't give a shit. They went to see her. So that is a scam.
Yeah. So
Yes.
anyway, that was the one I was remembering. And that happened. When did
Well,
that
I would
happen?
say probably what Neil Gaiman's doing was worse, right?
Yeah, yeah. And people have accused her of being kind of complicit in that.
Well, that's
Uh
no, they said it's like it would almost be like she would bring women to him. They had
yeah.
some weird, like I said, it's like a Ghislaine Maxwell thing. Something weird about like getting women who are like more lesbian persuasion, but to be it, I don't know, like a lot of strange stories. I mean, he's been this famous writer for decades. So, do you know? Okay, do you know the Tom McFarlane story with Neil Gaiman? Do you know who Tom McFarlane is?
Yeah, the Spawn guy, right?
Yeah, and he did
Yeah.
Spider Man and all that shit. Okay, so he in early in Spawn, he hired a bunch of like writers, top tier writers, to do a couple of comics. Like Alan
Hmm.
Moore did an issue, Dave Sim, I think maybe I'm trying to think who else, but the one of the biggest issues was the one Neil Gaiman did.
Huh.
And they had like a weird handshake. Like Neil Gaiman came up with like a lot of the lore for Spawn. He created Angela. He created the medieval Spawn, which that's just a medieval version of
Sure.
Spawn. So it's not like, but Cagliostro, who is kind of like Spawn's like mentor, like
Hmm.
those were all from issue 9 of Spawn, and they say it is the most expensive comic in
Oh,
history because it led to all these insane lawsuits. Like part of this weird agreement, Tom McFarlane thought he was gonna have the rights to Miracle Man, and he tried like putting Miracle Man in
yeah.
a comic. He made a toy, didn't go anywhere, and I guess because Neil he didn't actually own the rights, and
Huh.
it gets really confusing. And then like Neil Gaiman sued him or something like that, and forgot what it was. It was like they were working. Marvel was work. Yeah, he did 1602 for Marvel. Neil Gaiman.
Hmm.
That was like a big deal. And it was kind of like a favor, supposedly, that Marvel would pay for the lawsuit against Tom McFarlane. Tom
Okay.
McFarlane ended up losing a ton of money, and he lost the rights to Angela from Who's the
Right.
Boss.
Yeah.
Angela.
Did he keep
No.
Mona? Did he keep Mona?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can keep Mona. And he's like, no, take her too. Please. Mona. Um, Mona was awesome.
Yeah.
Old sex pot. When we gotta fuck Tony. Remember that episode?
That was a crazy one. Yeah.
Lingerie.
Sam, get in the van.
Yeah, Tony, when are we gonna fuck? And he's like, I'm Italian. I'm gonna say something stereotypical.
Yeah, that's a spicy meatball. I remember that
Yeah,
episode.
that's a spicy Mona.
Well,
God, when I worked at Trauma, I know I'm like straying now.
yeah,
There
yeah.
was this, these guys were working on something, they never finished it. We was like editing clips to make it. It was like, I guess, an episode where he's teaching Jonathan how to wrestle, and it just ends up sounding like it was really funny. And then like Mona comes in and she's just like, "Oh, like, I don't know." They never finished it. It was super fucked up. It was really funny. It was
Yeah.
all only audio. So Marvel ended up owning Angela,
Wow.
like because of
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman. So Tom McFarlane lost the right. Like it was, and he left Marvel to start his own thing. Like he left Marvel like start Image with those other guys so they could own the rights to their characters. But in a
Hmm.
way, Tom McFarlane fucked up in this situation and did like a weird handshake deal with Neil Gaiman. Like he would send them like checks here and there. They were like
Yeah.
gifts, but it was like really like, yeah, here's your
That's
royalties. But
fucked up.
really,
Yeah.
but yeah, Marvel owns Angela. Angela was like turned into like Thor's like half sister. It was like really strange how it happened. But now that like the whole Neil Gaiman thing's out, like everything's like kind of tainted, you know? Like
Yeah.
I bet you Marvel's not gonna touch Angela with like a fucking 10-foot pole.
Well,
Even though
you
like
had said you had wondered too about Sandman
yeah,
season
Sandman
2.
season 2, which I mean, fuck, look how fucking toxic JK Rowling is. I mean, she's fucking
Yeah.
horrible. She's like the leader of like an anti-trans movement in this country. And HBO is gonna go ahead and still do the fucking that Max is still gonna go ahead and do that Harry Potter series.
If I
And
were
she's
Neil
supposedly still
Gaiman's,
involved with it.
yeah, if I were Neil Gaiman's one of his victims, I would want him to make as much money as he could so I could take it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Just send that
I
to
would
me.
be one of
Just
the
ignore the
victims,
middleman.
right?
Just send that to me.
Victims
Yeah,
should
but at
be
the same
like,
time, you don't want
you
to make it
must
too much
air
money
this.
because then he could afford better lawyers than you.
That's
And
true.
you get
But,
nothing.
um,
But yeah, that is funny. No, I mean, like in theory, I mean, I don't think he wrote the show. It's just his name's involved. He might. I don't know if he wrote scripts. You know, like George R. R. Martin wrote scripts for Game of
yeah,
Thrones.
I
He would
don't know.
actually write. He wrote a lot of the scripts especially in like the earlier seasons. I think
Right.
in later ones he stopped, but and that's really where you see the dip. But yeah, George R. R. Martin's like handprint was all over that series, which is probably another reason why those fucking books never get
Yeah,
finished
right.
because he was. Um, so I don't know if how heavily involved he is with Sandman,
Yeah.
but I would imagine that they're not going to have him on the PR for the
Right. It's not
show.
gonna be on the
I
big
think what's
four.
going to happen, unfortunately, is they're going to air it, and there's probably not going to be any more seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
I can imagine that's what will happen, and it's not because like I don't know, like it'll lose its
I don't
luster or
know.
something. Yeah, I posted this thing, and I didn't really know the severity of it, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it was kind of like I don't know. I feel like I should delete it. I was not defending him at all. I was just saying like I just wrote, after hearing about Neil Gaiman, which has been brewing for years, I come to the
Yeah.
conclusion that people need to stop putting successful writers, actors, comedians, artists, etc. on pedestals. They will always disappoint you.
Yeah.
These are people who are not just able to capitalize on their talent, a true rarity, but also surrounded by people who will throw themselves at them. I'm not defending this at all. It just seems like a gaming is another statistic. But again,
Right.
I realize how fun. And this guy wrote, famous people having sex with fans and even cheating on their partner with fans is sketchy, but not a surprising thing. That's an average famous person level of shitty behavior. But according to the article, in game, it was much, much worse. But yeah, don't put famous people on pedestals. They should be viewed with a healthy level of distrust. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like the whole,
That
like,
sounds
you
reasonable.
separate the artist from the art. And I'm like, in some instances, no, I can't. Like, I'm
Well,
sorry. If you
yeah.
like, if you're putting out like shitty content now, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, that's why I think it's so funny with like the whole J.K. Rowling thing. It's like, what the fuck are you, like,
Yeah.
are you insane? Like, no one's gonna remember you as the writer of Harry Potter. They're just gonna remember you
Right.
as like a crazy rich old bitch who like hated fucking
Yeah.
marginalized people. Like I said, it'd be like, imagine George Lucas, like, just, I'm gonna
Yeah.
spend the remaining my years attacking Inuits.
Right.
Like,
I hate deaf people. I hate
I know what I say to deaf people? Nothing, because they can't hear me.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
why I hate them. I don't read lips. I
uh,
talk.
yeah.
And I have ears I could hear, unlike those deaf bastards.
It does. It seems like an odd hill to
I
die
like your
on.
George Lucas impression, though. I hate deaf people. I'm gonna spend the next 20 years of the last 20 years of my life just dedicated to shitting
Shitting
on
on deaf
disabled
people.
people. Hey, don't you want to work on I thought you said after Star Wars you were going to work on smaller films. I know I lied.
No.
I just want to spend my billions that Disney gave me.
Removing closed captioning from all my films.
Yeah, yeah. These movies are not for you. Do you realize that I came up with THX for a reason? So you deaf bastards gonna hear feel the rumbling of the theater.
Yeah.
You ever, what was that movie, Marlene Matlin? It was like in the 80s, and it was like I learned a lot
The
about deaf
piano
people.
teacher? Was it the
What?
piano teacher? Was it the
Maybe,
piano
I don't
teacher?
know. Like, but they would show like deaf people they would like make music like super fucking loud because they could feel like the
Yeah.
treble. Like it could feel.
Yeah. What was the name of that movie? She's married to like a right-wing grifter, isn't she?
There she is,
I
Marlene
think
Matlin.
so. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong on that.
I
Let's
like
see. Marley Matlin,
Marley
career,
too.
other ventures, personal life.
Rush Limbaugh. No.
Matlin married a Burbank police officer.
Kevin Granick. Okay, I mean,
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
they've been
I guess
together
I'm.
forever, and that was in the early 90s.
Children of a Lesser God was the
Yeah,
one.
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I hate that movie. I don't like when the movies try to humanize these evil people who refuse to hear. George, they can't hear. I don't believe that. If they wanted to hear, they would. I got
Hate
a
them
word
and
for them.
shitty
Not
bands.
deaf.
Shitty bands like Def Leppard.
Yeah,
Hate
I hate Def Leppard.
the whole
Well,
Def Jam.
I
Def
hate them
Jam
because I love
discussion.
leopards, but I hate deaf people. Anybody who's listening to this right now and you happen to be deaf, please
Right.
not be offended by this. This is,
Yeah. I don't know where this came from. But
deaf
yeah.
leopard. I love leopards. I hate the deaf people, and that's the problem. His favorite ears. Oh, I'm thinking of Van Halen. Never mind. I was thinking of Van Hagar. That's not Def Leppard. It's a totally different band.
Well,
You know
all
what I
right.
like to hear? I could hear leopard. When are they gonna change the name to that? I'll fully fund your tour.
All right, so
Fucking hate my George. George, why are you doing this? You're hurting the brand. No, I saw Rise of Skywalker. I ain't do shit.
all right, so all right,
Yeah.
switching gears.
Switching gears. Switching ears.
Yeah, right. Okay, so this one's kind of like a merged thing. Several things are happening regarding Donald Trump. First is that
Oh
Jack
God.
Smith,
Oh yeah, he's Monday, right? He gets
yeah,
inaugurated Monday.
Jack Smith released his report that basically says, like, look, Trump was guilty of all these things. He would have been convicted. And it was only through like Judge Eileen Cannon and the Supreme Court that just like disrupted the whole thing, and we'll never see justice in that matter. Uh, and so that happened, and then a lot of Trump's shitty cabinet picks are getting vetted and grilled right now, and they're all going to get in. I know they're all going to get in. Pam Bondi is a literal garbage can. Uh, and that Pete Hegseth, people are now calling, they call some people a DEI hire. They're calling him a DUI hire, which is pretty funny. And then this is how bad it is. Marco Rubio is the standout competent candidate in all of this. I don't know. So, and then Trump gets inaugurated. So all those things happen
The
over
Pete
the next.
Hegseth thing is fucking ridiculous. Like out of
Yeah.
all them, I would say the most egregious. He's probably the worst one. I know RFK is
Well,
a fucking
Tulsi
nightmare. Pam
Gabbard is
Bondi's a
pretty
nightmare.
bad.
But he's the idea of him. I mean, he was so smug, and the Republic. That's the worst part about this shit. Is like, okay, this guy should not be in charge of anything to do with the
No.
military. This guy's a fucking clown. He's a grifter. He's fucking selling
Yeah.
soap, grenade soap to fucking toxic to like weak men who like.
It is. I mean, like, that is a good point because this guy's like a complete ass clown. Like, Tulsi Gabbard is probably like a criminal and a traitor, but
Oh
like,
yeah,
I
she's
think
a fucking Russian spy.
I
There's no
think she
fucking
believes
denying
in
that.
what she's doing at least. Like, she
At
she
least she has some kind
probably,
of fucking experience. I
yeah,
mean, that's what
right.
like this
That's
guy's a
another thing.
fucking joke. That's what I mean. Like with her, she's fucking awful, but she probably knows that like some of the mechanics.
Yeah,
But even
yeah.
though she might just be dumb as shit as well. I mean, she's
Mm,
a fucking self-serving piece of shit. I always fucking hated her. I always hated like all these people were like pushing her. Oh, she was Bernie support. I don't care.
yeah,
A lot of people supported Bernie. Some of them were shitty.
yeah.
There's people who supported Bernie and then voted for Trump.
Well, all of these things are happening, and I I I find myself like, I don't know, this is like cold comfort, and I know I'm kind of rationalizing it, but like, I feel like if good things happen, I'll be glad because I like it when good things happen. But if bad things happen, I'll be glad because it'll be their fault. You know what I mean? Like, I'm certainly not rooting against America. I want like stocks to do well. I want the economy to do well. I want people
Yeah.
not to drop dead of a terrible illness. But when they do start dropping dead because of a terrible illness, I'm going to routinely remind people of how they should have seen this coming. You know, like if you put an anti-vaxxer brainworm dullard in charge of national health, guess what's going to happen? You
I
know?
mean, he's a disaster. I just think the Hegseth thing, and it's gonna be the same thing with RFK or any of these people that he fucking Trump put in, is how the Republicans have to like they're so bad at it too. They're like that
Yeah.
Mark Mullen guy, whatever his name is,
Oh, Mark
Mark
Wayne
Wayne
Mullen.
Mullen,
That
that
dude's
little
an
douchebag that got in a
asshole.
fight with that
Yeah.
fucking union guy who ended up being a dick also. Um, yeah, they act like they're defending Hegseth, and it's like, come on, you know this is a bad pick, dude.
All of these
This is a
people,
really
yeah.
shitty pick. Like, but I feel like I'm watching the Kavanaugh hearing again. They get all like, "Oh, I'm so sorry how people are treating you." Like, fucking
It's
what's his
just,
face ripped the shit out of him.
Tim Kaine.
Yeah, Tim
Yeah.
Kaine.
He
Yeah,
was
what's her
great.
face also was really good because he's like, she said like, no one in that position should be allowed to ever be on the board of any fucking like Raytheon or anything like that
Yeah.
because, and he's like, I'm not a general, and everyone's like laughing. It's like, okay, that doesn't make it okay. So you're
Yeah.
basically implying that because you don't have this military that you're gonna let companies bribe you.
It is weird to think that like in my memorable lifetime, Clinton was impeached for like an extramarital affair, and like Gary Hart had to drop out of a presidential race he was doing well in because he had an affair. You know what I mean? Like, and now we're to the point where like this guy, the Secretary of Defense potential, Tim Kaine's like, you were cheating on wife number 2 with wife number 3 2 months after you had a baby with wife number 1. Yeah, it's like, you gotta be fucking is anything ever going to disqualify anyone ever? You know, I
That's
mean,
what I
like
mean. Like the Republicans are gonna just like suck off these people.
mhm,
Like they're gonna like and like, oh, we're so sorry you're being treated. And it's like, this guy is not right for this position, and you're
yeah,
just doing it because you're in the Trump. Like it's it's ridiculous. Like none of these fucking Republicans have like, any fucking like
no, none of
backbone at all.
no.
None of them. They're all like, because then they'll become like Mitt Romney in 2 seconds.
Well,
Like they can't.
on the Democratic side, if a nominee like this had been proposed, it would have been
They would
scuttled.
be like, no
Yeah,
fucking way. This is
right.
a bet. They would never pick someone like this.
Exactly. They'd be like, look,
And this is
I'll
why.
tell you right now, if you pick him, we're going to vote no. So pick someone else. And then they would have picked someone else,
They'd be like,
But
are you fucking kidding? Like,
yeah,
and they were like, yeah, I am actually. Here's our actual person. He's
right.
actually has like 50 years of fucking experience.
Yeah.
Like, I
um,
mean, this is insane. Like, this is why I mean, like, when people like didn't fucking vote for Kamala, it's like this
yeah.
clown show wouldn't be happening right now. And then on top of it, didn't the fucking like they had a ceasefire in Israel?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's fucking Reagan 1980 all over again. Except
Yeah.
it's like 100 times worse. Okay, so 1980, you had the Iranian hostages.
Yeah.
And Carter tried to get them free, but they were working behind the scenes with fucking Bush, who was former CIA. They were working with the fucking Reagan campaign. And then these people
Yeah.
get magically freed on Inauguration Day for Reagan. And it's totally insane because it's like, oh, yeah, Reagan waved his arm, and the Iranians, in fear, were like, here, take him back. Please don't hurt us, mighty Reagan. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, dude, they're working on a fucking deal. But this is so much worse. This is so much worse because fucking so many Palestinian people were killed. So
Yeah.
so you could politicize the shit out of it. You could have left people staying home at a protest.
It
And
is
Trump
disgusting.
wins, and it's like, oh yeah, the ceasefire. What happened? I don't know. We killed like hundred
Yeah.
thousand people. Who gives a shit?
I'll tell you though, I watched a
Just so this
little,
bastard could fucking give people tax cuts.
yeah. I watched some of the Pete Hegseth hearing, and I immediately like remembered why I stopped watching news. I'll read about news. Like, look,
Yeah.
I think the New York Times, Washington Post, I think for the most part they're garbage. But when they do a fairly straightforward news story, um,
When they
it's
actually do
it's
the news, and it's not some
yeah,
fucking
it's
op-ed
sometimes
bullshit.
okay. I mean, it's often not okay, but so I've read accounts of it and I've kept up with the news and everything, but it's just like really terrible. It's all terrible. Trump's going to get uh uh inaugurated next week. Fucking like Carrie Underwood and the Village People performing.
The
It's
Village
just
People
this.
thing is hysterical. Oh, we're
That's
not
funny.
gay, dude. What are you fucking
The
kidding
Village
me?
People and Kid Rock, them performing, that makes sense. But Carrie Underwood, like,
I mean, why does that not make sense to you? Is she just some like country singer? What the fuck is she?
well, because
Most of those
like,
country people are fucking fascists, dude.
but she had crossover appeal. Like she could sell makeup or something. But like now it's
Well,
gonna
maybe
be
she figured, maybe she looked at her fucking
mm,
sales and they're like, you know what? If you become a fucking MAGA musician, you'll have a fan base till you die because
yeah, that's
like
true.
you don't even have to put out good music anymore. You don't have to do
Yeah.
anything.
Mm.
And she probably looked at it, probably, she's
Yeah,
probably
no
well to
dummy.
do, right? She's
Yeah,
got
I'd
marketing
imagine.
people.
Yeah.
What? They probably
I'd
looked it up and
imagine,
said,
yeah.
like, who's buying your makeup? Oh,
Right.
it's fucking Trump supporters. It's the women
Mm,
that vote for Trump are buying your makeup.
yeah.
That's your audience. So if you go and sing for him, you'll probably make a bunch of money that day from like sales of other shit.
Yeah. I hope there's a lot of protests, but I don't think there will be. I think people are just
No
exhausted.
one's. That's like this thing is like it's like people are like celebrating this. Like the guy, like was it the CEO of Coca-Cola gave him a
Yeah.
bunch of money? Like what the fuck, man?
It is. It's crazy. I mean, like
These- they it's gonna be a massive payday for these people. They're gonna like
yeah.
the United States is basically just gonna be a fucking tax shelter by the time Trump's done. I mean, it already almost is. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
tax shelter
I
for
wonder,
rich people.
this whole and we can switch to the next the Walgreens story in a second, but
Well, you
I
got Jack Smith and you got
I
oh
I keep hearing about like Trump wants to buy Greenland or whatever. Like I looked it up. Greenland has universal health care, free education, including college. Everyone gets like a super generous paycheck at the end of their lives. You know, they get like a nice supplement to carry them through their elder years. The work week's like 30 hours. You know, I mean, it's like a pretty left leaning. Like, what are they planning on, like making it a state? Are they, because like that'll be a real blue
Again, I
state. I
think
mean,
all this is bullshit. It's
yeah, no, I
all
agree, but
fucking,
like,
it's all bullshit. It's a smoke screen. It's
mm,
like, you know, hey, morons who vote for me, who are racist as fuck, who are angry because Elon's getting all, and
yeah,
Ramaswamy are getting all their H1, what do they call it? H1N1? No, what's the type of,
they get H1N1s. Well, H1N1 is what everyone in Louisiana is getting. It's that bird flu. It's that make make America sneeze
God,
again.
that fucking Joe Rogan, Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, the Biden administration made me have to remove things from the site. You know, these things are true too. Well, I guess Mark Zuckerberg's a fucking anti-vaxxer. What the fuck?
Yeah, but he's the sooner we get rid of Meta, the better. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where it was going. But anyway, well,
No,
so
I mean, like you were talking about Greenland and everything, and about like yeah, why the fuck would they? No, but I was talking about those visas, the ones that like,
yeah,
you
I think
know,
they're called H1 visas.
okay, so and they're usually like it's people who are brought in from like India and different countries, and they usually it's like tech jobs, and these people don't get
Advanced
paid that
degree,
good.
yeah.
They work like fuck, they get worked to death, and in a way, it like they don't really have ice they have to worry about, but they have to have their job or they gotta
Yeah.
go. And of course, Elon Musk wants a staff like that because then you can like threaten their complete livelihood. Like, yeah, you're staying till 4 in the morning. You know what I mean? Like you're sleeping
Right.
here tonight. Like that was when he fired all those people when he acquired Twitter. Everyone in that photo, the remaining staff, was all like was pretty much people H1 visas. Like
Yeah.
he's just exploiting people, and such a fucking piece of shit, man. That guy sucks. He really
Yeah.
is. Like
He does.
he's like
He does.
he's a fucking like he's like the biggest fucking disappointment. I kind of knew that felt that way anyway about him for a very long time. And like I used to always say, like, man, don't put your fucking stock. This guy's a fucking billionaire. If he really cared about it, he would have like he would put his own money into investing in making the infrastructure for electric cars. And also, again, there would be an economy version of a Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've never done that.
That's not
You
on
know,
the
I
that's
love
not
that.
on the
Anytime there's
radar.
like a Reddit, someone will ask him and he'll go, "Oh,
Right.
we're working on it." It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you don't give a shit.
No.
What happened to Mars? You don't hear about that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, like, who the fuck cares about Mars, dude? It's like, oh, you're gonna terraform a planet that has no life on it.
That
If you can do that, why don't you do that? Like, how about we fix our planet?
Let's start with healthcare. I
Well,
love
yeah,
those
we'll
ones.
start with
Every time
healthcare,
you
but I mean,
see,
like, you know, how about you work on our why don't you fix our planet? You
yeah.
know, so people are healthier. But yeah, let's healthcare. I mean, like, dude, it's gonna be a fucking weird 4 years. I
Yeah.
really like. I kind of want to tune out. Like, I don't even want to fucking
Yeah.
have like all this other shit to deal with, and I can't give my fucking brain to this piece of
Yeah.
garbage anymore.
I know it's not worth it.
I mean, we can talk about it, but like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna I'm not gonna respond to every stupid thing.
You
There's all these like fake grifters on the left. You know, like I said, there's like one guy like, oh, the Jack Smith thing came out. That Trump is a criminal. It's like, so is he going to jail? No. Who gives a shit? He's gonna be
Yeah.
fucking president in a couple
I can't
days.
get myself worked up over this stuff because
Like
it's too easy. Yeah.
like January 6th should have been the end of him, and this motherfucker's getting back in the White House.
Yeah.
10 times worse than he was before.
Well, he won't yeah.
What?
He won't be around too much. The dude's like fucking old as hell and he's not in great shape.
We'll see, man. I
yeah.
feel like once those fuckers get in power, they
Get re-energized.
That's like I said. That fucking I don't know if you remember. It was like years ago. It was like there was that pimp guy, and they had that show on
Yeah,
HBO.
yeah.
It was about the prostitution house or whatever. And he, of course, he was a Republican. I can't believe the pimp guy was a Republican. I was shocked to find that out. He ran for like a seat, state senate maybe or something, and he fucking died. But the joke is he still won post-mortem. But like, I was like, if that fucker won, he would never have died.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You get like once a Republican gets in power, they get like that magic pill that keeps them alive for another 20 years. Nothing affects them. It's like that. What was that? Glass Onion. Remember, like, because let's take place like during COVID or whatever, and they inject some pill into the back of their throat, and it basically was like a cure. Like,
yeah, I remember that.
that
yeah,
part? It was like
the
before
little
they get on
an
the
inhaler.
protest,
They
the
like a
island.
little inhaler or something. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like an inhaler thing, and like it basically was like, yeah, this is called the rich person cure.
yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so the Jack Smith thing, real quick. He basically said that Trump is a criminal, right?
Yes,
He basically said that like
he committed a bunch of crimes.
he should be in jail.
Yes,
If like fucking what's his face actually did his job.
Merrick Garland. Yeah,
Merrick Garland. I'm sorry, like for all the good stuff Joe Biden did in his 4 years, it doesn't matter. It's all fucking garbage now. It
yeah,
doesn't make a difference. He's just gonna be. I will say this: that they you hear these stories that he was way worse than what like his staff or whatever, like basically hide him. Like he was way
yeah.
worse than. But again, like he won. He said that I guess he said he would have beat Trump.
I don't know, man.
Maybe he would. I don't know. I don't.
Well, it wouldn't have been any worse,
But again, it's like, oh, immigrations is a huge deal. Now it's not.
Yeah.
And his MAGA supporters are never gonna fucking wake up and realize that this whole thing's a scam.
They'll move on to some new grievance.
It's like I said, George W. Bush. I remember his policy was the most honest of any Republicans. Yeah, I want these people to come in, but then I'm gonna kick them out in a year.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
I mean, it's awful because it's still an attack on labor. It's still an attack on the working class here.
Yeah.
But you're using people. So you're just basically saying like, yeah, I want people to come in and we'll exploit the shit out of them. They'll make some money and then we'll kick them the fuck out after a year. And then we'll get a new workforce before they get too mouthy. But at least he was fucking honest.
He was pretty straightforward about it.
What?
He was pretty straightforward about it.
He was such a good guy. Don't you isn't it fucked up that Donald Trump makes you but at the same time, no, I still think Bush was. Well, now it doesn't matter. I always said that Donald Trump only had 4 years, so Bush still the worst president. But now Trump got 4 more years, and fuck knows what's gonna happen.
We'll see.
All right. Speaking of, so there was an article going out about Walgreens.
Yeah.
And this is kind of applies to almost every store. So a lot of stores started putting up fucking all right. So when you go to Walmart, some areas, the Legos are behind a glass case.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Legos are fucking expensive. I get it. People rip the box open, take the minifigure out, whatever. I get that. But baby formula, fucking diapers, soap, fucking deodorant, that should not be behind fucking glass containers. I'm sorry, that's fucked up. Baby formula should not be behind glass containers at all. That's fucking disgusting. So all these stores were doing that, and I guess Walgreens was like, "Oh yeah, who would have thought that only having 2 people on staff all the time,
right?
And everything's behind a fucking glass case, make people not want to shop here."
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I've gone to places where I've gone to places where everything was kind of locked up and it made sense. Like I was telling you, I was in downtown New Orleans off of Bourbon Street, and there's a convenience store where a lot of things were locked up, and I'm like, okay, I get it, I'm sure. And I saw that.
Yeah, but it's still unsettling, you're just and I gotta wait for someone, and they're gonna be pissed, and I'm gonna be like, listen, I want to look at the shit. I'm gonna be a while.
That's the thing is that
I'm not gonna just go pick up any deodorant.
Yeah, there's a bunch of places where I've been where I'm like, I go, it's locked up. I kind of look to my right, look to my left. There's no employees around anywhere. And then I just leave. I'll go somewhere else. I mean, of course, if you're a convenience store, that's half of it, making it convenient. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's in the
More
name.
like an inconvenience store, right,
Yeah.
guys?
I mean, like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know. I mean, like, I get like, okay, scratch off tickets. Yeah, you keep them behind the counter. That makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
There's like some stuff that
Fucking cigars.
right, yeah, or
Fucking-
cigarettes or I don't know, but like good. I mean, like, good. That's like this to me that seems like an extension of like hostel architecture,
Oh yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
you know,
We're like I remember we were I forgot. Oh yeah, we're like in North Carolina. I don't know. We were just sitting down, whatever. And then
mhm.
there was like a bar, there was a bench,
Yeah,
3 bars, and I was
so
telling
you
my
can't lay
son,
down.
I was explaining to my son that yes, this is nice in a way because you have an armrest, right? Everyone sits there as an armrest, but that's not really what this is
That's not
designed
what
for.
yeah, it ain't there
That's
for
not
that.
the intentions. The real intention is that a homeless person, unhoused person, cannot fucking get any
Yeah,
relief and lay down on this bench. It is designed
right.
to. And then they show some real hostile, like
Yeah,
it's like spikes on the fucking like where like under highways, like
under highway
yeah, they'll put
overpasses.
like
Yep,
fucking spikes so they can't even fucking like.
get out of the rain. Yeah.
It's so
Um,
disgusting. It's like this country, like, how about instead of hiring some disgusting consultants or hiring some
yeah.
shitty contractors, you put it towards shelters.
They'll offer some housing vouchers or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Instead of like giving some fucking overpriced consultants, like
Yeah.
yeah, I said like the people who like probably told the Walgreens and all that shit are like people who like watch Fox News all day and are like, oh,
Yeah.
there's thieves everywhere. It's like.
Yeah. It is it's awful. You know, I mean, like all
Like
of the
I'm not.
stuff.
If I go into your store and everything's locked up, guess what? I'm probably not going to stay.
Yeah, and they're doing it simultaneously with automating everything and reducing the number of staff there, and then when they start to lose sales, they cut back on staff even further, and they
Yeah.
more so automate things, and it's real depressing. But I'm glad to hear that Walgreens lost business due to this, and
I
I don't
mean,
hate
I'm not
Walgreens. I
glad
mean, like,
about it. It's just I'm glad that like, oh
I'm
yeah,
glad
your
they realized
shitty
it.
idea
Yeah,
it didn't work out for you. Like, but like a lot of stores, like Target will do that too. Like all these
yeah,
stores will do that. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking shop here. You don't hire enough people. I'm not gonna like. I
that's
want
the
to
thing.
be like. I want. I try to give myself 15 minutes in Target, and I could
Yeah,
go through like 20 RLs, grab all the stuff I need, and then get the fuck out.
right.
If I have to fucking stop for glass cases, I'm not shopping there. Fuck
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah. I
like you said,
may.
it's hostile retail. Fuck.
It is. It's a
It's like
it.
you think we're such disgusting people here that we're fucking savages. All we're gonna do is steal from you. That
Yeah,
fuck you put everything behind a case. Like, why
yeah,
should we give you our money? Like,
mhm,
you don't give a shit about this community.
yeah, yeah. This is yeah.
Well, that's what I
Oh,
said. Like, even people said like fast food places. Like, I remember there was like this good TikTok where the lady's like, $12 to go to this diner across the street, and they're gonna make you much better food, and you're gonna get a lot more
yeah.
food value instead of fucking Wendy's, which is like a fucking. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care.
No.
It's like they're not there to grow the community in any way. It's like, and that goes like with all fast food places, really.
Yeah.
Not just Wendy's. McDonald's is known for never having any bad.
Ugh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So our last item was Joe Rogan. You have a comment regarding Joe Rogan, from whom you get all your medical advice.
Yeah, I do get my medical advice from him.
Right.
I squeeze ivermectin onto my toothbrush. And brush
He's
my
an
teeth with
approved
ivermectin.
provider as per my HMO. So
Yeah.
what do I gotta do?
What did you say? What?
He's an approved provider as per my HMO.
Yeah.
So I could,
So Joe Rogan, like, I mean, he's just basically he's just a fucking like a
he,
fluffer for like fucking billionaires and fascists now. I
yeah,
mean, like all he's had on are these like fucking like he has Elon Musk on. He's had him on in the past.
yeah,
Like Elon Musk the first time he was on, it wasn't too bad. It was like the mythology of him, and he wasn't
yeah,
complete chud yet, you know.
right.
But now it's just so fucking egregious. And then he has like Mark Wayne Mullen. I think that's that guy's name.
Yeah.
Guy has like a cone head. This guy's fucking gross. He had Peter Thiel on. I mean, he
Yep.
had fucking Trump, JD Vance. That whole bullshit about, oh, Kamala didn't give him time.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Kamala Harris said, you come here. And he
Yeah.
said, I don't travel, which is a fucking lie because
He's
he
traveled for a
traveled
bunch of
to
people.
interview
Yeah.
Artie Lang from
Right.
fucking Howard Stern. Like he's gone to Mar-a-Lago. Like
Yeah.
this guy is a full-on. Everyone always still uses bullshit. Like, oh, he'll talk to anyone. No, he will not
No.
talk to anyone. Like
No.
this is one guy I listen to sometimes. I used to not like him. I gotten to like him more. Kyle
Mhm.
Kalinske. And he used to go on Rogan a bunch of times. He hasn't been on in years.
Hmm.
Trashes Rogan. He's like, he says, like, he played a bunch of clips of Rogan claiming how he's for healthcare and all this shit. He's like, that guy doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, he hasn't existed in a long time. He shifted weight. I mean, I always figured he was full of shit. I never trusted him. Like, people be like,
Right.
oh, he's a liberal because he has Tulsi Gabbard on. Like, that did not make him a liberal. If anything, that just makes him like, he had the fucking, what's that guy's name too? Andrew Yang and like,
Yep. Yeah.
these were like
It's
not
all
good.
like
They were not
it,
good actors. They were not
no.
like they're
And
always bad
even
faces.
just a few years ago, these all would have been peripheral fringe people, and Rogan's kind of legitimized them and brought them into the mainstream.
Right. I mean, he pushed all those stupid like whatever Barry Weiss and called the intellectual dark web or whatever
Yeah.
that's called. Yeah, he pushed all those guys and he was considered part of it. So I don't understand why people thought this guy was so on the left. Even he could claim he was. I could claim I have wings,
Right.
but I have flying anywhere and I don't have
Yeah.
wings. Like he can
Yeah.
claim he's on the left, but he's full on right wing propagandist. That's not very left wing.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he does not appeal to the. I wish people would wake up and realize, like, dude, this guy sucks, dude. Like like more now than ever, he sucks.
Yeah.
And Bill Burr, like people are saying, like that he is what Rogan like. Bill Burr is what people think Rogan is, and it's like no.
Yeah. If you've never heard of Rogan, if you have only heard of Rogan but never listened to him, you probably think it's like a Bill Burr type of show.
Yeah,
Yeah. That makes
that's
sense.
not the truth at all.
No.
Like he's just like I wish people would fucking wake up and realize like dude, you're watching like he's basically like a fucking mouthpiece for the elite.
Yeah.
And he's an elite. He's worth hundreds and
Oh
hundreds
God,
of
yeah.
millions of dollars. This
Yeah.
fucking guy, man, he's like he just fucking lies. He just lies like through his teeth. And he's fucking Mark Zuckerberg. He's talking about ivermectin. He had Mel Gibson on it, talking about ivermectin. Mel Gibson's
Yeah.
a piece of fucking shit. Stop defending this fucking guy. He's garbage.
Yeah. That's true.
He's proven over and over that he's a piece of shit.
Mm.
There's better people out there. You don't have
yeah.
to support him. You don't have to hire him. He's not a good person. He's told you who he was a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
saying
No,
you. I mean, in
yeah.
general, this piece of shit told you who he was. He's a bad person. He's a fake Christian or whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's an anti-Semite. He's a bigot. He's a sexist. And Joe Rogan happily has him on. But I think they even said if you watch the clips or anything, even Joe Rogan's like, that's nuts. But again, it doesn't matter. Joe
No,
Rogan's
because you're
still
still platforming
platforming
him.
him,
Yeah.
and if he says anything, it is of the most slightest pushback. Like I said, if you really thought Joe Rogan was this independent guy who puts on whoever you want, there's no way in fucking hell he would have had Barry Weiss on his show.
Yeah.
I've
No, not
seen
at all.
her on there. He looks so fucking bored. No, he's being his masters, even when he was so-called independent before
Right.
he was on
Right.
Spotify. No fucking way. No way he sat there like, let me get this woman from the New York Times on who has shitty opinions. I want to talk to her for 3 hours instead of talking to Tim Dillon or Alex Jones. I want to talk to this fucking boring lady that I have nothing in common with. Like,
Yeah.
no, they fucking Peter Thiel's like, hey, you gonna put her on? I don't know. I can't do it. He sounds weirdo. You go. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. It's like a weird monotone voice. It's kind of similar to like the Theranos lady.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Elizabeth.
Hasselbeck.
No, she's terrible too, though.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes. Yeah.
Yeah, like they like sound like fucking robots or something.
Yeah.
But like shitty robots, not even the good kind. Not the cool kind that help you take down
Pilot us. Yeah, I was gonna
Gosh,
pilot it from.
they have a little rat that lives in one of the eye holes.
So
The
cool.
rat's like somehow survives all. And he just makes an appearance whenever he's like, "Oh hey, I'm one of your friends now. Too. I'm a gross rat that lives in the fucking hole of the insane robot."
Oof.
Um,
Oof.
yeah, no, he sucks, dude. He sucked for years, Rogan. But now more than ever, anyone that's watching it, like, who wants to watch it and be like, "Oh yeah, I want to hear fucking Mark Zuckerberg talk for 3 fucking hours. I want to hear
Yeah.
Jimmy. I want to see a bunch of billionaires complaining." Because their grievances are so important. I need to know what billionaires are sad about.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
not
the
good.
Zuckerberg thing is ridiculous, dude. He thinks he's like Logan Paul now or something. Like you see how
Yeah.
he is and everything. He's got like a middle school broccoli cut.
He does. He does.
Do you see my drawing I did of him?
Yeah. With the robot face.
Did you
Yeah.
get the reference though? I figured you're old enough to get the reference.
Yeah.
Like a 70s, like $6 billion man. It's like
Yeah.
cheesy when they take the face off.
Right. It's just a face plate. Yeah.
So I want to let everybody know before we wrap this up. Good news. You can buy the original piece of art.
Nice.
Put it in my eBay. You want to know how much I'm charging for it?
How much is it?
Take a guess.
Is it $1 million?
You have to go like that with your finger.
Right.
No, actually, I'm going a little lower on this. I'm going
All
a lot
right.
lower on this. I want to be a little more realistic on this one.
Well, how much are you going for?
$100,000.
Oh, okay. Does it come framed?
No.
Okay.
But I did throw in free shipping.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think I went back and offered free shipping on the Elon thing too.
That's a good one.
Now I am taking offers, but no lowballing. So if you come at me with $95,000, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'll do 98,000.
Well, we'll have to get an update on any sales action coming up next.
Dude, that would be insane. That's like life changing. Like I'm scared. If I sold that, I'd be scared. I'd be like, is someone gonna kill me?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if someone bought that Elon drawing for $1 million, I really would be frightened out of my mind. I'd be like, all right, like, is there a helicopter over my house?
Right.
Like, I'm not supposed to have this. I'm not allowed. I was never destined to have this wealth. So
Yeah.
like, like someone's gonna like show up at the door. Some weird tax agent be like, "Oh, we take 98% of it."
Yeah. Right.
Something weird. I don't know. Like if you made $1 billion, it would be considered salary. Because that's how I would consider it. Because I consider my eBay sales, you have to report them over a certain report it. So like if I made $1 million, well, I would remove the eBay fees. I would not report like 833,000, which is insane that much eBay would.
You'd still walk away with like over 700,000, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, man! I offered free shipping. That's like 50. Now I'd be like scared to ship it too. That my stuff always makes it to places, but this will be the time it does.
Right, this would be the time.
I think though I could probably make a new Elon drawing pretty quickly.
Probably,
but don't tell anybody that. No frauds. All real. But like, if someone bought that, even the Mark Zuckerberg drawing for $100,000, that would be
big deal. Yeah.
Again, I just would be like looking out the windows. Is there like fucking people outside my house with guns?
Right.
Like I don't know. Like it would.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd be like, okay, this isn't like. Is this? I try to look up the seller, try to find out if they're like if this is a con or something, or
Yeah.
Wait, why is MB what's his name? The guy from Saudi Arabia is like a he has like a stupid initials, like trying to make him sound like he's cool.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember, bro.
Yeah. No, Kim Jong-un's gonna buy my drawings. Wait, is he Kim Jong-un? No, that guy's dead,
Kim Jong-il.
That's the new one, right?
I think so.
Chubby one?
Yeah.
They're all chubby.
Yeah.
Chubby too. Chubby is a fun way of saying chubby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That wouldn't it be cool? The thing is, like, I feel like a millionaire already. Like, I already have it in my eBay store.
Right.
I mean, I haven't sold it, but I have something worth $1 million now.
Just get it insured and hope nothing happens to it.
What would happen to it?
I'm just saying you'd collect on the insurance policy. You'd collect.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, I rip it into pieces. I don't know
Yeah.
if that. Yeah, I'd insure for $1 million. What would that cost? That can't be cheap.
Yeah, it probably costs. Well, the thing is, you'd have to find someone to write the policy.
Mm.
Yeah. So.
And I would say to them when they're writing it, what happens if I just like
Right.
lose, like it just gets lost? And they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, it just
wondering.
vanishes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Shit happens.
Yeah.
They'd be like, you know what? We can't work with you.
We're very sorry, sir.
But what would that cost? $1 million
I
insurance on
don't know. I mean, like it would cost I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It would depend on the thing and the protocols you have around it and whether it's something that could be repossessed or you know, something like that. But yeah, people insure all sorts of stuff. So
I know.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, next week is the world will be a different place.
Yeah.
It'll be like 1984.
Right.
Like somehow worse.
Yeah.
Not that utopia that was sold to us in 1984, you know, that future utopia.
Woof.
So, I mean, I don't know. Just expect all the stupid to happen.
Yeah. I'm ready for it.
I'm not. I'm not. It's not that I'm not ready. I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I say that, but then
it'll happen.
we'll be talking about it nonstop.
Oh well.
I'm never gonna leave. I control your mind. I'm Trump.
Oh.
You have Trump derangement syndrome. You ever hear that shit when people say that? And I'm like, I hate that fucking shit. It's like
these are the
you're
people that
fucking
literally
deranged.
spent the last 18 years of their life bitching about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, exactly. What do you don't like about her? You know, I actually never really sat back and thought about it.
No one's ever
She's
asked
kind
me
of like
that.
a bitch or something. I don't know. But I realized that's not really even right.
Yeah.
She's a person. She has feelings.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
You can say that about her. I don't think you can say the same thing about Trump. You know. Did you see his real quick? Did you see his photo? Like, I can't believe this has to be a joke. I think I reposted on Threads. I gotta find it. No. Where did I put it? Dude, I can't believe this is fucking real. Like, President Trump's inaugural portrait has been released. Like, what the fuck? What a miserable, like, fucking person. Look at this thing. I'm gonna make that the art. That's
Oh Lord.
like, look at that. Is that a joke? BNL News. Like, is that even real? What the fuck is? Yeah, no, it's news. That's his inaugural photo. Like, he just looks like such a miserable bastard. There was one last thing I was gonna talk about, and then just like, oh shit. Oh, did you see the memes I made? Yeah, of course he did. The one with our, like, so I made real quick because Rogan's been just interviewing like fascist leaders and fucking like tech billionaires. You know, I did one where he's talking to like it's a me with him talking to Mr. Burns, and he goes, "Bro, that vest was really made from real gorilla chest." Burns like the picture of him with his like fingers and he's And then, of course, this one, bro, somehow you returned.
That's the best one.
Yeah, the Palpatine one. And it's yes, Joe, ivermectin has many uses. Some consider it to be unnatural.
That was real good.
Thank you. Proud of that one. The Gorilla Chest one I'm proud of too. I was trying to think of any other ones, but those are just bangers. I mean, like, I'm trying to think of any other. I was going to do one with, like, the millionaire from Gilligan's Island, but, like, he wasn't that bad of a guy.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. He's just rich. He's just rich.
Yeah.
Somehow, I always love about that show is like, why would the rich couple have like
be on a chartered yacht? Yeah.
Yeah, like they had the mansion hut. Like, why? Who made it for them?
Yeah.
Did the skipper and did they employ them?
Could have been, yeah.
Oh. Very dumb show. All right. A brilliant show, amazing show.
All right.
On that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.